Wednesday, April 30, 4:05 p.m. at my locker. Okay, I have tried really hard to polite about all of this, but sorry, I just can't take it anymore. If I hear Mackenzie Hollister's name one more time, I'm going to scream. I can't believe everyone at school is still talking about her. It's like they are abashed or something. If Mackenzie were here, she had loved us. If Mackenzie were here, she had hated that. This school will never be the same without Mackenzie. OMG, I miss Mackenzie so much. Mackenzie. Me having a complete nervous breakdown because I'm so sick of everyone talking about Mackenzie. Listen up, people. Mackenzie's been gone for an entire week and she's not coming back. So cry yourself a river, build a bridge, and get over it already. Okay, I'll admit it. I was as shocked and surprised as everyone else when she left so abruptly. But Mackenzie hated my guts and made my life totally miserable. To be honest, it seems like she's still here. I know this sounds weird, but it's almost like I can feel her presence even now as I am writing in my diary. But that's probably because the tacky junk kids are living for her. It's hogging up all the spaces at my locker. Me totally disgusted by the junk hogging up my space. Goodbye, we'll miss you, Mackenzie. A poem for Mackenzie. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. A card for somebody special. We really miss you. You will always be in our heart. Hug me. Goodbye. We love you, Mackenzie. I'm sure she's loving that her former ex-BFF. Jessica turned her empty locker into we miss you, Mackenzie. Sharon, complete with its own Facebook page. Please. It's obvious to me that Mackenzie is still manipulating students, especially after that very pathetic and over-dramatic farewell letter she emailed to our school newspaper this morning. The editor actually published it online for the entire school to read. OMG, Mackenzie went on and on about how she was tired of the needless suffering and had decided to end it all by moving on to a much better place. I'm sure she said all that stuff to make everyone feel sorry for her. Just in case I decided to expose all the terrible things she did before she left. Just think about all this. This is making me so angry I could chew rocks. I know probably shouldn't have said this because it's kind of rude. Mackenzie's remind me of one of those disposable baby diapers. Why? They're both plastic, totally self-absorbed and full of poop. I still haven't gotten over all the mean stuff Mackenzie did. Like stealing my diary, breaking into my mom miss-know-it-all website, sending really mean fake advice letters to students, and spreading lies and nasty rumors. And now she's playing the victim just because of a silly video someone sent around of her freaking out over her bug in her hair. Yeah, right. Anyway, Mackenzie ended her so-called suffering at Westchester Country Day Middle School by moving to a cold, better place, namely Northampton Hills International Academy. It's a really posh prep school for the children of celebs, politicians, business tycoons, and royalty. Although, now that I think about it, Mackenzie just might fit in with the royalty at that school. Because she's the biggest drama queen in the history of the universe. Everything is so utterly disgusting. I can't even Mackenzie, the drama queen. Everyone is also raving about her new school. According to Mackenzie, it has a French chef, a Starbucks, writing tables, a spa, helicopter landing pad, and a plaza of designer boutiques so kids can shop during lunch and after school hours. And get this, she said her school has ATM machines in every hall right next to drinking fountain that dispense 7 different fruit flavored water. But Mackenzie is such a pathological liar. I was starting to wonder if her fab school even existed. I wouldn't have been a bit surprised if she had completely made it up just to impress everyone when she's really being homeschooled. So I googled the school and actually found its official website. OMG, I could not believe my eyes. International Academy, Northampton Hills. Calling Northampton Hills International Academy posh is an understatement. That place is amazing. It reminds me a lot of Harry Potter school, Hogwarts. I just hope Mackenzie is finally happy, assuming she actually even goes there. I wonder if Northampton Hills would award a full scholarship to a very deserving student in exchange for bug termination service. Just kidding. But hey, it wouldn't be the first school to make the deal like that, right? Anyway, now that Mackenzie is gone, my life is going to be perfect and drama-free. Well, I need to stop writing and get going. I'm supposed to meet Chloe, Zoe, and Brandon at the cupcakery in 20 minutes, and I still need to change into my favorite dress. The cupcakes are to die for. Squee! Wednesday, 4:45 p.m. at the cupcakery. It was really for a fun chillaxing bite with Chloe, Zoe, and Brandon at the cupcakery. But inside my head, I was doing my stupid happy dance while gleefully counting the number of minutes Mackenzie has been out of my life. 12,584, 12,585, 12,586, 12,587, 12,588, 12,589. Me doing my Snoopy happy dance. The fact that Mackenzie was actually gone was finally starting to sink in. I felt really hopeful and like I had a whole new future ahead of me. I was so distracted that at first I didn't notice Brandon staring at me. Then he blushed and handed me the most beautiful cupcake with a pink heart on it. Nikki, I'm glad we're hanging out again. I know you have been through a lot lately, but I hope everything is okay, he said shyly as he brushed his shaggy bang out of his eyes. Brandon, everything is just perfect, I gushed. When we just stared at each other and blushed, all the staring, gushing, and blushing went on like forever. Brandon and me staring, gushing, and blushing as we shared a cupcake. OMG, it was so romantic. Suddenly, dozens of butterflies started fluttering in my stomach. It made me feel very giggly and little queasy, all at the same time. I wanted to vomit the rainbow-colored cupcake sprinkles. Squee! As we stared into each other's eyes, I could definitely sense something crazy was about to happen. Again, Chloe and Zoe left from the table near ours to go to the shop next door to get strawberry smoothies, which meant Brandon and I were alone. More words cannot begin to describe what happened next. Stop! So, did you guys miss me? OMG, I could not believe it was actually Mackenzie Hollister. Somehow she had just appeared out of thin air. Yep, Brandon and I were the very unfortunate victims of yet another sneaky Big Mac attack. Mackenzie had a huge smile plastered across her face and was wearing ready for revenge red lip gloss, which BTW clashed with our pink cupcake that had somehow gotten stuck in her hair and was sliding down the side of her face. She slowly scraped off a big glob of smashed cupcake and licked the frosting off her finger. Sorry about that, she snickered. My bad. Then she smiled wickedly and said the most ridiculous thing. Hey, I think this cupcake belongs to you guys. Mackenzie's returning our cupcakes. OMG, that cupcake fiasco was so disgusting. I felt like throwing up again. That's when I suddenly realized I was completely wrong about Mackenzie. She wasn't gone from my life forever yet. But I was about to fix that little problem. How? By grabbing her wretched little neck and force-feeding her cupcake until frosting oozed out of her ears. Mackenzie was so cruel and ruthless. Not only did she ruin my cupcake dessert, but she rudely interrupted my almost second kiss with Brandon, which, unlike the first kiss, did not involve helping the needy children of the world. I looked right into her beady little eyes and could see she had done all that just to undermine my relationship with Brandon. Mackenzie, I gasped in shock. What are you doing here? I just came over to say hi. We haven't seen each other in ages. And wow, you haven't changed a bit, Nikki. That's probably because it's only been a week, 1 day, 8 hours, 54 minutes, and 39 seconds. But hey, who's counting? I muttered. Then I totally lost it and screamed. Mackenzie, next time try staying away long enough for me to actually start missing you. Like maybe 27 years. But I just said it inside my head, so no one else heard it but me. I could not believe what that girl did next. She totally ignored me and started flirting shamelessly with Brandon. So, Brandon, wanna hang out this weekend? I'll tell you about Northampton Hills. You had loved it there. You should transfer, she said, batting her eyelashes all fiddler like as she twirled her hair around and around her finger in a blatant attempt to hypnotize him to do her evil bidding. Mackenzie shamelessly flirting with Brandon. Actually, Mackenzie, Nikki told me everything. Sorry, but I don't hang out with sociopaths, Brandon said, shooting her a dirty look. Well, you shouldn't believe everything your little friend tells you, Brandon, Mackenzie smiled, especially when she hasn't been taking her meds. I could not believe that girl was talking trash about me right to my face like that, especially in front of my crush. Then Mackenzie scrunched up her nose at me like she smelled something really bad. So, Nikki, Would you like a tic-tac breath mint? All that garbage you have been spewing around me about me is making our breath stink. No, Mackenzie. Actually, you need to use that breath mint way more than I do. You have been talking so much trash and telling me so many lies, and that your breath stinks more than my mom's cabbage and bolognese casserole rotting in a hard garbage bag in July, I shot back. Page 26. That's when Mackenzie got all up in my face like an ortho retainer. Nikki, you're a worthless fake. You shouldn't even be attending WCD. Thank goodness I don't go there anymore. Oh, really? Well, thank goodness you laughed. And Mackenzie, you're such a fake. Barbie is jealous. But what I don't understand is how you can be so mean and cruel to other people. Is that it because you're so insecure? Sorry, but no one is perfect. Not even you, Mackenzie. So you can stop pretending to be. For a split second, she actually looked kind of stunned, I guess. I must have hit a nerve or something. Or maybe she was wondering how I knew she was obsessed with trying to be perfect. Unless your name is Google, you need to stop acting like you know everything, Nikki. I'm warning you. If you go blabbing my personal business, you're going to be regretted. I have read your diary and I know all your little secrets, so don't mess with me or you and your pathetic friend will be kicked out of WCD so fast it will make your head spin. This is between you and me, Mackenzie. Just keep my brand out of it. Dragging innocent people into this is not fair. Not fair? Really? You know what that sounds like? Not my problem. I just stared at her in disbelief as she stared back at me with her cold, icy blue eyes. Our conversation was interrupted when several students walked into the cupcake shop. And get this, they were dressed in the exact same school uniform as Mackenzie. When she saw them, her mouth dropped open and she looked like she had just seen a ghost or something. Of course, that immediately made me very suspicious. Mackenzie had lied so often that about so much for so long. I was beginning to wonder if she really even attended Northampton Hills. Finally, I was about to find out the truth. Wednesday, 5:10 p.m. at the cupcakery. OMG, Mackenzie was acting totally schizoid. Just a few minutes ago, she was Miss Thang with a funky attitude, talking trash and all up in my face like nose hair. But now she was a nervous wreck and more uncomfortable than a fat slimy worm on a hot sidewalk. And I was loving every minute of it. She frantically wiped the frosting out of her hair and then said to Brandon and me, "Well, I really should be going now. I have a ton of homework to do later." But before Mackenzie could sneak away, her classmates spotted her and rushed over to talk. She quickly plastered on a fake smile. "OMG, what are you guys doing?" "Hi, Mackenzie, we're just hanging out, so these must be your BFFs. We're dying to meet them." Mackenzie gazed nervously at Brandon and me. Actually, they were just leaving. They both have a ton of homework to do, so maybe next time, okay? But in spite of her objections, her classmates hurried over to introduce themselves. "Okay, so you must be Nikki. I'm Persley. OMG. Mackenzie told us all about her very cool band. Actually, I'm not really sure yet. And her record deal. It was so nice of you to agree to stand in for her as a lead singer while she had her tonsils removed. Anyway, we went. Actually, I'm not really sure yet to perform at our 8th grade graduation party, and Mackenzie said she had think about it and let us know. Hi there, I'm Sol, and you're Brandon, right? You and Mackenzie are the cutest couple ever. No wonder the two of you were crowned sweetheart that princess at your Valentine dance. Mackenzie said you will probably be transferring to Northampton Hills next year. You're going to love it. Hey, what's up, Nikki? I'm Ivan, and I'm the editor of the school newspaper. Mackenzie told us you helped her with her super popular advice column, Miss Know-It-All. I'm trying to get her to do an advice column for our newspaper too. I know the two of you are really missing Mackenzie, Percy continues. It was so sweet of you to decorate her old locker. She showed us a photo and it was adorable. Yeah, how many students would volunteer at Fuzzy Friends run a book drive for school library, asking to earn money for charity, and create a line of designer fashions for homeless animals? So gosh, Mackenzie is an angel. That's when I totally lost and screamed, wow, Mackenzie is just so wonderful. I bet she first glittered too, but I just said it in my head so no one else heard it but me. I'm so freaked out by all the stuff those kids were saying that I almost fell out of my chair. It was real like Mackenzie had stolen my identity or something. I seriously considered calling the authorities and having her thrown in jail. OMG! Brenda and I were quietly fuming. We were so mad our hair were about to explode. But the worst part was that Mackenzie just stood up there with this stupid grin on her face, nodding like every word they were saying was true. Like, who does that? It was clear to me why she had tried to sneak off before they saw her. It was going to get really complicated really fast with two Nikki Maxwell in the room. I wanted to scream, will the real Nikki Maxwell please stand up? Which Nikki is real? Page 35. Completely fed up, Brandon glanced at the door and cleared his throat. Listen, Nikki, it's getting late. I think we should get going. It was really nice meeting all of you. Yeah, same here. Hopefully, we will see you all again soon, I said sweetly as I plastered a big smile across my face. If Mackenzie decided to let her band, actually, I'm not really sure yet, play at your graduation party. Then I glared at Mackenzie like she was a wad of gum stuck to the bottom of my shoe. That's when she started to panic. Wait, guys, please don't leave yet. I need to explain a few things, okay? Actually, Mackenzie, I have already heard a quiet enough. Northampton Hills sounds like a really great school. I'm really happy for you, I said. Mackenzie blinked in surprise. You are? Really? Thanks. Well, the least I can do is get you guys another cupcake. You never finished eating the last one. Thanks for the offer, Mackenzie, but don't worry about it, I said. Are you sure? I heard the double chocolate ones are really good. But my favorite is the red velvet with cream cheese frosting, or I could buy you both, Mackenzie rambled. Brandon and I just shook our heads. We had all we could take of Mackenzie's cray antics. All she needed to complete her bizarre action was some circus music. We quickly headed for the door and Mackenzie continued to receive the cupcake menu. Then, out of nowhere, she suddenly shouted, "Okay, great! It was cool hanging out with you. I missed you too. Love you guys." Okay, that was totally weird. What alternate reality was she living in? Or was she just suffering from some obscure disease like early onset middle grade dementia? Once we were outside, Chloe and Zoe met back up with us in front of the cupcake shop. Chloe and Zoe, you will never in a million years guess who we just saw inside, I exclaimed. That's when we heard a strange tapping sound. The four of us gasped and started at the huge window of cupcakery in disbelief. Finally, Chloe and Zoe uttered, was it Mackenzie? Mackenzie had pressed her face against the window and was frantically waving at us like we were leaving a cruise ship or something. Of course, we all waved that back at her. Both of my BFFs stared at Mackenzie with perplexed looks on their faces. Is she sick or something? Chloe wondered aloud. Why is she acting so strange and friendly? Zoe pondered in awe. Listen, guys, just keep smile at her and slowly back away. I will call you later tonight and fill you in, I exclaimed. Brandon and I said goodbye to Chloe and Zoe and then headed across the street to Fuzzy Friends. We planned to hang out there for a half hour until my mom picks up. Although I hadn't been to Fuzzy Friends in a few weekends, it seemed more like months. Once on the sidewalk, Brandon glanced wearily over his shoulder at the cupcake shop. You know something? Mackenzie reminded me a lot of stomach flu. Just when I thought she is gone for good, she comes running back with a vagueness. Tell me about it, I sighed. It was quite obvious that Mackenzie was up something. I shuddered at the thought that we were possibly pawned in some shikam or of hers. I couldn't help but wonder whether that illness Brandon had mentioned was contagious. Because I had a sinking feeling I was about to contract a really ugly case of Mackenzie flu too. Wednesday, 5:27 p.m. at Fuzzy Friends. As we walked along, Brandon and I agreed that Mackenzie was always creating drama just to undermine our friendship, which BTW included that nasty rumor that he had kissed me on a bet just to get a free pizza. Of course, I was dying to ask him about it. So, did you actually win a free pizza? Oh, damn, he rolled his eye in embarrassment. Mr. Zimmerman and said our camera company donated pizza gift cards to our photography team. So it had nothing whatsoever to do with, he blushed. You didn't believe that silly rumor, did you? Of course not. I'm not that stupid. I knew all along that Mackenzie was dying, so I didn't believe that rumor for 1 second. I lied. As he walked up the sidewalk to Fuzzy Friends, I immediately noticed something strange. Brandon, look! Someone left a dog on the front step. Brandon and me discovering an abandoned dog. It was a beautiful, adorable, well-groomed golden retriever. The dog curiously cocked its head and stared at us. As we approached, it stood up, wagged its tail, and seemed to be real friendly. Poor thing, I said. I wonder who left it out here. And why, I'm not sure. But it doesn't look like one of our dogs. Brandon stooped over to pat its head and checked for an ID on its collar. The dog licked its hand and then barked as if to say hello. That's when we noticed the note attached to its collar. I opened it and read it aloud. Dear Fuzzy Friends, unfortunately, I had to move into a senior citizen building and no pets are allowed. I love Holly very much, so please take good care of her and her critters. I know you will find her a wonderful home. Thank you for your kindness. Critters? What critters? I asked, confused. This box is for Holly, so maybe her toys and stuff are inside. Let's take a look. Brandon said, curious. We both peered inside the box. Gosh, we were very shocked and surprised by what we found. Puppies! Lots of cute, sweet, wiggly little puppies. We had a hard time counting them as they jumped, tumbling, and scampered inside the box. But there seemed to be 7 in all, and they were truly adorable. Ah, how cute! I still have time before my mom gets here. Would you like me to help you take them inside and register them? I asked. Yeah, thanks. But to be honest, I had rather we skip all the paperwork. Then how will people know Holly and her puppy are available for adoption? That's exactly my point. Right now, I don't want anyone to know Fuzzy Friends has 8 more homeless animals, okay? But why? I don't understand. Brandon closed his eyes and sighed. This is serious stuff, Nikki. Are you sure you want to know? I'm warning you. If I tell you, I might have to kill you. He teased half seriously. OMG, Brandon, is something wrong? Well, according to our case manager, Fuzzy Friends has been at full capacity all week, and it's getting worse. We won't have room until Sunday morning. He has actually been refusing new animals. Brandon explained as a look of sheer frustration crept into his face. Well, we can just get something extra cage and find some space. How about the storage room? Nikki, it's not that simple. Based on the size of our center, we can only have a certain number of animals on the premises because of the city ordinance. Oh, I didn't know that. I absolutely hate that when this happens because we're turning away animals, and not all places in the city have a no-kill policy like we do. So do you know what that means? He paused and shook his head sadly. It took a few seconds for me to figure it out, and then my heart sank. Oh no, I groaned. If Fuzzy Friends doesn't have room, that means Holly and her pup can't stay there. But what if they end up at... I gasped at the horror of it all. I could barely bring myself to say the word. One of those other places, I stammered. Brandon, we can't let that happen. What can we do? Well, I guess we can keep them here as long as no one knows about it, including our case manager. It's serious violation that could get us shut down, so I understand this is counter, But I can't put Polly and her pups at risk like that either. I had never ever forgiven myself if his voice cracked and trailed off. He gave Holly a big hug and buried his face in her fur. She looked at Brandon sadly and whimpered. Then she licked his face like he was a human lollipop until finally he broke into a big smile. Brandon the human lollipop. It was almost like she knew the serious situation she and her pups were in, but didn't want Brandon to be upset about it. Brandon's eyes started to glisten and fill with tears. He blinked and quickly wiped them away. Brandon, are you okay? I just had some dust in my eyes or something. I'm fine. He muttered. He was obviously lying. The poor guy looked like his heart had been ripped right out of his chest. I got a huge lump in my throat and felt like crying too. I felt just horrible for my friend and the 8 abandoned dogs he had already fallen in love with. Suddenly, I had a huge surge of emergency. Sorry, but I was not giving up without a fight. Listen, Brandon, I have got your back on this. Just tell me what I need to do. Brandon cocked his head and stared at me in disbelief. Nikki, are you serious? As serious as a heart attack, dude. He grinned from ears to ear. Yeah, me too. I guess I can't always count on you, Nikki. Then we gave each other a high five to seal our deal to keep Holly and our puppy safe until we could find a good home for them. So I hope you're good keeping secrets, Brandon said with a crooked smile. Suddenly it became apparent that the task ahead of us was going to be far more difficult than Brandon and I ever just imagined. OMG, did you just say secrets? A voice squealed in excitement behind us. Startledly, Brandon and I nearly jumped out of our skin. I could not believe someone had been eavesdropping on our personal and private conversation. We cringed and slowly turned around. I was praying that it wasn't who talked, but unfortunately it was. Hey guys, I love secrets. Mackenzie again. It was a second Big Mac attack that day. I suddenly got the very creepy feeling that she was stalking us or something. So that's the big secret. You can trust me. I won't tell a soul. I promise. You guys aren't in any kind of trouble, are you? She asked, staring at us suspiciously. Brandon and I exchanged worried looks and then gazed nervously at Mackenzie. It was quite obvious we were both thinking the exact same thing. Oh, crud. Wednesday, 5:35 p.m. at Fuzzy Friends. Mackenzie, what are you doing here? I blurted out for the second time today. Listen, Nikki, it wasn't my fault those idiots from my school got their facts about us all mixed up. But that real little accident was my fault, so I wanted to personally deliver this, she said, opening her designer bag and taking out of the cupcake a box. I couldn't believe my eyes. What was Mackenzie actually doing something nice for a change? So the only reason you're here is to deliver a cupcake? Brandon asked skeptically. Come on, don't be ridiculous. You think I came here just to spy on you? Please, I have way more important things I could be doing, like dusting my fabulous shoe collection. Okay, let me get this straight. You bought us another cupcake? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Mackenzie shook her head and giggled sarcastically. I didn't exactly buy you a new cupcake, but all you have to do is pick out the lint and a few starry hair, and your old cupcake will be as good as you. Yum yum. MG Mackenzie, you shouldn't have, I muttered. I didn't know which was more disgusting, that nasty-looking cupcake or the fact that I had just thrown up inside my mouth. You don't have to thank me, Mackenzie smiled. No, I meant it. You really should not have done this. Eek! What is that green gooey stuff? I asked. Who knows? Mackenzie shrugged. The waitress at the cupcakery cleared your table and toasted, but I finished it up out of the garbage and brought it here because I wanted you two little lovers to have it. Ew! That's when I threw up in my mouth again. Brandon and I just rolled our eyes. It was quite obvious that Mackenzie had something up her sleeve and just playing mind games with us. What's wrong? You don't look very happy, she scoffed. Why would we be? I shot back. You have been practically stalking us. Well, Miss Smarty Pants, maybe I wanted to take the scientific route home today. I narrowed my eyes at her. Mackenzie, you were spying on us. Just admit it. Shut up, Nikki. I've got a perfectly good explanation. I was just, she hesitated. I have to admit, Mackenzie looked silly standing there thinking and making weird faces like she was suffering from constipation. I rolled my eyes. Well, we're waiting. Actually, I was, okay, fine. She placed her hand on our lips and glared at us. So what if I was snooping? Stop pretending you're so perfect. You dirty law-breaking animal shelter rule lectures. These mangy poor dogs are in extreme danger. Thank goodness I got in here in time to save them. Brandon and I froze and gasped. What? So you did hear us, I said, trying not to panic. Everyone, shady, sneaky detail. I just hope your little secret doesn't get leaked to the Channel 6 investigate news team, Mackenzie sneered. Then Fuzzy Friends will lose its license and shut down, and every last one of these flea-infested mutts will be out on the street, probably getting run over or worse, all because you two refuse to follow the rules. Brandon looked like Mackenzie had just slapped him. He stared down at his feet. Her harsh words and accusation had obviously knocked the wind and good intention right out of him. Brandon, I expected so much better from you. I thought you had integrity. Mackenzie scolded him as he hung his head in shame. What is wrong with you, Mackenzie? I cried angrily. You transferred to your dream school and have everything you have ever wanted. Why do you still have to destroy anything that you breathe? Oh, no, she snickered as she took out her cell phone. I guess bad habits are hard to break. Desperate, I tried to reason with her. Mackenzie, can't you see the lives of these innocent animals are at stake? Not every shelter in the city is safe, I explained, blinking back tears. Holly must have sensed I was upset or something because she suddenly bared her teeth, growled and lunged at Mackenzie. Brandon grabbed her collar just in time. Whoa, girl, calm down. Everything is fine. Although Mackenzie cautiously backed away from Holly. That dog just tried to attack me. Keep that thing away from me or I will call animal control. That savage beast is dangerous.
OMG, I was so angry I wanted to slap that girl into tomorrow. No, Mackenzie, you're the savage beast. You say that like it's a bad thing, she sneered as she dialed a number on her cell phone. That Mackenzie did unthinkable. It was just she had stopped to new law and started digging. Hello, is this a Channel 6 news tip hotline? I just found out some dirt on a local animal shelter. I think they are abusing animals. Yes, I'll hold. Brandon looked overwhelmed and totally defeated. He just sat on the steps, staring like a zombie and quietly patting Holly. Thanks to Mackenzie, Brandon stood lost two things that he cherished: fuzzy friends and Holly and her pups. His lofty dream of helping animals and keeping them safe was quickly turned into this worst nightmare. And there wasn't a thing we could do about it. Wednesday, 5:48 p.m. at Fuzzy Friends. Calling this fiasco a nightmare was an understatement. Mackenzie was patiently waiting on hold to report Fuzzy Friends in hopes of closing it down. I had to do something, but what? I finally came up with 4 ideas. Unfortunately, each of them had a downside. 1. The funky phone. I could grab Mackenzie's cell phone and quickly toss it onto the sewer drain near the curb. Then she wouldn't have a phone to be able to report us. But I could end up in jail for destruction of property. And even worse, to replace her expensive designer phone, I had probably have to pay her my weekly allowance for 30 years, 9 months, and 2 weeks. 2. The diva dish. Apparently, Holly doesn't like Mackenzie. I could interrupt her phone call and exercise Holly by allowing the dog to chase a screaming and hysterical Mackenzie all the way home. But that would probably be cruelty to an animal, and a little cruel to Holly too. The smushed cupcake caper. I could take that disgusting cupcake and shove it back to Mackenzie's throat. Then she wouldn't be able to talk about Fuzzy Friends or anything else for that matter. But that could be messy and probably require a trip to the emergency room for doctors to surgically remove both the cupcake and my arm from her throat. 4. The just clowning around. I could convince Brandon to run away with me and the dogs and join the circus. Then we had spent the rest of our lives performing a funny clown act in super cute costumes. Brandon, the dogs, and I run away and joined the circus. But then we had missed our family and friends. I have also heard they get very smelly on hot summer days. They meaning the circuses, not our family and friends. After carefully consideration, it appeared that the smushed cupcake caper was probably the best idea overall. Not this situation was hopeless. My mom was going to be picking me up at any minute now, and I had to say goodbye to Holly and her pups forever. I sighed suddenly and blanked back to tears. I seriously reconsidered the caper when I came out with a weekly cunning new idea. Yes, it was a long shot, but it was our only hope. Well, Brandon, thanks to Mackenzie, it looks like Fuzzy Friend is going to be closed down soon, I said loud enough for Mackenzie to hear. Mackenzie, who was still on hold, gave me a very smug look. OMG, I wanted to badly wipe that little smirk right off her face. But instead I continue. Anyway, after dealing with all this drama, I have worked up a really big appetite. So I think I'm going to head back over to the cupcakery to try a few of those awesome cupcakes that Mackenzie recommended. Of course, Brandon looked at me like I was insane. Nikki, how can you be thinking about cupcakes at a time like this? He exclaimed. Because I'm hungry. Anyway, while I'm there, I'm going to hang out with Mackenzie's new friend from Northampton Hills. They seem so friendly. I'm really looking forward to hear an even more fantastic of the fantastic lies that Mackenzie had told them. But somebody needs to keep it real and tell them the truth. Wanna come, Brandon? It should be fun. He finally caught on and gave me a slight grin. Sure, Nikki, but let's take the dogs inside first. Now that I think about it, I have practically killed for sweet revenge the devil's food cupcake. Mackenzie lowered her phone and nervously eyeballed us all evil-like. Don't you dare talk trash about me to my new friends. Better yet, I'm coming with you. No, you need to stay right here and save the lives of these poor dogs, I said sarcastically. Do you think I care about these mangy nuts? I have been whole like forever, and I refuse to waste any more time on this stupid phone call. Mackenzie angrily ended her phone call and stuffed her cell phone back into her purse. Then she narrowed her eyes and scowled at Brandon and me. Listen, you two better stay away from my friends or I'll make sure you never see these little flea-infested furballs again. Oh, really? Is that a treat? I scoffed. No, it's a promise, she stirred. Then she turned and says hey back across the street to the cupcakery. I just hate it when that girl say hate. As Brandon and I watched her leave, we sighed in relief. Thank goodness the dogs were safe, for the moment anyway. Brandon brushed his shaggy bangs out of his eyes and just stared at me for what seems like forever. What? I asked defensively. Slowly, a smile spread across his face until it was ear to ear. How did you shut Mackenzie down like that? He asked. I had pretty much give up hope. I really appreciate what you did just now. I looked into his big brown eyes and could see he sincerely meant it. A wave of emotion washed over me, and I got a big lump in my throat, but more than anything, I felt really good that I had Brandon's back and was there for him when he needed me. Then I shrugged nervously and started babbling like I had totally lost my mind. Thanks, Brandon, but you're a lifesaver. And after we find these dogs a home, you'll be a hero. You're also a nice person, a good friend, and I bet you felt glitter too. Yes, I actually said that to Brandon. Somehow it just kind of slipped out of my mouth. I was so embarrassed. Brandon and I had a really big laugh at my silly little joke. Come on, Nikki, let's get this dog inside. I bet they're starving, Brandon said happily as he picked up the dog's box of puppies. And he was right. Holly gobbled her food and then patiently nursed her hungry puppies. Then the pups played in their bowls of puppy chow like it was one of these plastic ball pits of toddlers. Brandon and me feeding Holly and her pups. Although we had successfully averted a new disaster, Brandon and I still needed to come up with a plan. We had no idea the dreaded Mackenzie flu was going to strike again. But unfortunately, there was no vaccine. Mackenzie is scheming, convincing Snake, so I knew it would be way too risky to keep the dogs as fuzzy friends for the rest of the week. That's when I came up with yet another brilliant idea. Listen, Brenda, why don't we simply take turns taking care of dogs at our homes until fuzzy friends have a space on Sunday? I don't know, Nikki. Just one dog is a huge responsibility. Take care of 8 of them would be exhausting. Yeah, but it's all one dog and 7 little puppies. And since the mother dog feeds them and stuff, there's not that much we need to do. Come on, Brandon. After thinking it over for a few minutes, we finally agreed. Nikki, I'll take the first day since they are already here, but we will need to find more volunteers. I knew my mom would definitely say yes to me keeping the dogs for a day. Just a few weeks ago, she had let my bratty little sister Brianna keep Rover the fish, a classroom pet, at our house for an entire week. Can't. I'm sure I can keep the dogs for a day too, I said excitedly. So now we'll only need 2 more people. Great, Brandon smiled. Why don't you talk to Chloe and Zoe and I'll take to the guys. I think that this plan just might work. Anyway, I'm super excited because I have always wanted a dog. I had loved it and hugged it and kissed it and squeezed it and never ever let it go. Squee! And now I'm going to get the chance to take care of Holly and her 7 teeny weeny cutie patootie snuggly woggly adorable little little puppies for an entire 24 hours. Hey, how hard can it be? Wednesday, 8:10 p.m. in my bedroom. Okay, there's a good news and some bad news. First, the good news. When I told Chloe and Zoe about how Brandon and I had about Holly and her puppies abandoned on the front step of Fuzzy Friends, they were super excited to help out. So this is our plan. Brandon will keeping the dogs tonight. I'll have them tomorrow night. Chloe will have them Friday night, and Zoe will have them Saturday night. Then on Sunday morning, we'll return the dogs to the Fuzzy Friends so they can be placed in loving homes. Since Theodore Swagmeyer's family owns the crazy cheesy pizza chain, he volunteered a pizza delivery van and driver to transport the dogs anywhere we need to go. Okay, now for the bad news. Everything was as planned until I ran into a big, fat, messy, totally unexpected complication. After dinner, I was helping my mom put dishes into the dishwasher. It was the perfect time to casually mention the dog situation. I told her that due to family emergency, a good friend of mine needed a pet sitter for his dog, Holly. Well, it was a kind of true. Then I begged her to please let me keep the dog overnight on Thursday. Of course, I conveniently left out the part about the dog having 7 rambunctious puppies. I didn't want Mom to freak out over that very minor little detail, but after talking to her, it was me who totally freaked out. Honey, I really want to say yes, but we just got brand new carpet and furniture in the family room 2 weeks ago, so it's really bad timing, but maybe in a few months, okay? What? Me and Mom having a little chat. Her lame excuse about it being bad timing made no sense whatsoever. What does it matter if the dog has a little accident on the carpet tomorrow or 2 months from now? Either way, you just clean it up. Duh. Sorry, Mom, but if you let Brianna keep our pets overnight, then why can't I? It's not fair. Especially since I'm older, more mature, and 10 times more responsible than Brianna. Come on, she accidentally murdered poor Rover the fish by giving him a bubble bath. Remember? Like, who does that? Mom, if you were an animal, which of these two people would you want to be your pet sitter? Please select the perfect pet sitter. Brianna, pet sitting the Rover the fish. Me, pet sitting Holly the dog. I thought so. I rest my case. Mom, I don't want to keep Holly maybe in a few months. I want to keep her now. Who knows? I might be dead in a few months. And then you'll be at my funeral sobbing your eyes out and rambling hysterically about how you'll never ever forgive yourself for not letting me keep a pet overnight, especially after you let Brianna to do it and she's a lot younger than me. So thank you, Mom, for completely ruining my life, endangering 8 innocent dogs and giving me low self-esteem, which will probably require years of intensive therapy because you obviously love Rihanna way more than you love me. I need to text Brandon and tell him the very bad news that my mom won't let me keep the dogs. He is going to be really, really disappointed. I feel horrible that I let him down like this. But right now I'm just too upset. I plan to spend the rest of the night just sitting on my bed in my pajamas, staring at a wall, sulking. Wednesday, 11:51 p.m. in my bedroom. Ah! There was me screaming in frustration. I have a major project due tomorrow in biology, and it's an entire third of my grade. Things have been so crazy the past week that I had completely forgotten about it. The last thing I wanted to do was to procrastinate and then just throw something together the night before, like I did for my Moby Dick book report back in December. I had made the silly video that stared Rihanna as a whale that said "raw." So I was shocked and surprised when I got an A+ on it. I decided to finish my sulking later because I needed to get started on my bio project. Only I didn't have the slightest idea what I was going to do. Then my mom yelled, "Nikki, don't forget to take the clothes out of the dryer, fold them up, and put them away before you go to bed." Me taking laundry out of the dryer. The laundry included 4 pairs of my dad's long underwear that he wears to work on colder days. Then they actually look like those one-piece footy pajamas that toddlers wear. I was about to fold up the last one of them when I suddenly got the most brilliant idea. Since Dad still had 3 pairs left, I decided that he probably wouldn't mind if I borrowed one for my bio project. Besides, he is always harping about how important it is for me to get good grades so I can get a scholarship to a major university, and his long underwear would technically be helping me get a good grade, right? So I confiscated them, took out my pajamas and markers, opened my biology book, and get busy at the kitchen table. Me diligently working on my bio project. I finally finished my project a little before midnight, and I think it came out pretty good. especially considering the fact that it was based on a wacky idea I had of my folding laundry. I just hope my teacher gives me a passing grade on it. Anyway, now that my bio project is out of the way, I can finish sulking. I can't believe the woman who gave birth to me let Brianna keep a pat over now, but is refusing to let me do the exact same thing. Life is so unfair. I guess I'll tell Brandon the bad news tomorrow. I just hope we can find another person to take my place. Thursday, May 1 to 20:05 p.m. in the girls' bathroom. I was seriously dreading having to tell Brandon I couldn't keep the dogs. It didn't help matters that he was happily watching for me at my locker. Then he went on about how great the dogs were doing. When I finally got up the courage to break the news, I interrupted him and said, Brandon, there's something really important I need to tell you. But he said, really? Because there's something really important I need to tell you. He started gushing about how thankful and lucky he was to have me as a friend, which made it more difficult for me to tell him. Then he said, so I'll drop the dogs by your house right after school today, okay? But before I could answer and say, actually, Brandon, you can't drop the dogs by my house. That's why I've been trying to tell you for the past 10 minutes, he said. Later, Nikki, see you in bio, and disappeared into the crowded hallway. The whole thing was so frustrating. So now I had to try to explain everything to him again when I saw him in bio. Only right before bio, I went into the girl bathroom and stood here in front of the mirror and practiced telling Random the bad news. But I practiced too long and ended up 4 minutes late for bio, which meant I completely missed the chance to tell him the bad news again. I just knew my teacher was going to be super irritated with me for handing my project in late and maybe even take a few points off. But the strangest thing happened. Sorry, I'm late. Here's my project. Nikki, this will be perfect for today's lesson. May I use it? Sure. My teacher actually loved my project. She said it was not only creative but very realistic. As a matter of fact, she was so impressed that she asked for a volunteer to wear it while she taught today's lesson on the human body. Then she waited patiently for a student to raise his or her hand. But I already knew she was wasting her time. Who had been stupid enough to wear my that long underwear with the human anatomy painted on it in front of a class of their middle school peers? Well, okay, I rephrase the question. Who other than me would be that stupid? Class, this is what the human body looks like. Me. He. Ha ha ha. He he. Class, this is what complete humiliation look like. Most of students must have thought the lesson was hilarious because they snickered and giggled the entire life I was up there. OMG, I was so embarrassed. I looked like some freak who had been in a really bad parachuting accident and has somehow gotten turned inside out. Anyway, after class was over, my teacher thanked me for creating such a wonderful project and sharing it with my classmates. Then she suggested I enter in the citywide science fair that our school would be hosting tomorrow after school. Like, why would I want to humiliate myself in front of the entire city? That's when I completely lost and screamed, I'm really sorry, Miss Kincaid, but I can't decide this science fair right now. I need to rush outside, I dig a really deep hole, crawl into it, and die. Of course, I just said it in my head, so no one else heard it but me. Right now, I'm hiding out in the bathroom and writing all this. Unfortunately, I will probably never be able to do the laundry again. Why? Because I'm allergic to long underwear. Anyway, I never got a chance to talk to Brandon, so I have decided not to tell him. Instead, I'm going to keep dogs as planned. I'll just hide them in my bedroom entire time so that Mom and Dad will never even know they are in my house. I'm sure the dogs will mostly just hanging out in their cage and eat and sleep all day long. And since a mother dog is there watching her puppies, that means less work for me. Besides, I'll only be hiding them in my bedroom for 24 hours. Hey, how hard can it be? Thursday, 5:20 p.m. at home. I thought the school day would never end. I was dying to go home so I could get everything ready for Holly and her puppies. First, I cleaned my room. The last thing I wanted was for one of the dogs to nibble on that 10-day-old moldy pizza slice under my bed. Then I puppy-proofed it, my room, not a pizza. And just in case Brianna decided to snoop around once she got home from school, I cleared out enough space in my closet to hide the dog cage. When Brandon finally dropped off the dogs, I excitedly took them upstairs to my bedroom. OMG, they were so cute, I almost melted into a puddle of sweet, sticky goo. When Chloe and Zoe came over to visit, they immediately fell in love with the dogs too. Guys, meet Holly and her puppies. OMG, they are so adorable. Chloe and Zoe meet the dogs. Holly and one sleepy puppy took a little nap while the 6 other pups ran around my room, getting into all kinds of mischief. The smallest puppy cuddled with Brianna's teddy bear. One chewed on a gym socks while another played hide and seek under my bed. They were so cute! I told Chloe and Zoe that my only worry was having to leave the dogs alone in my bedroom for extended period like during meals. That's when Chloe said she had already thought about that problem and had come up with the perfect solution. She reached into her backpack and took out what looked like 2 old-fashioned cell phones. Then she said, "Hey, here, Nikki, you can use this baby monitor to listen in on the dogs when they are in your bedroom." Chloe gives me a baby monitor set for the dogs. Her mom had used it for Chloe's little brother when he was an infant. Chloe explained that I was supposed to leave the speaker unit in my bedroom with the dogs and take the receiver part with me. Then I had be able to hear what the dogs were up to in my bed. Now, how cool is that? This baby monitor was a brilliant idea and it would make taking care of the dogs a lot easier. Until you decide to use them, I think we need to hide them somewhere, Chloe said, looking around the room. She grabbed my backpack off my chair and placed the baby monitor set inside. Perfect. Thanks, Chloe. Now, if I could only get rid of my parents for the entire evening, I'm afraid they might hear the dogs. That's when Zoe said that she had already thought about that problem and had come up with the perfect solution. She reached into her purse. "Here, Nikki, 2 movie tickets," she exclaimed. "Thanks, Zoe, but how am I supposed to take 8 dogs to a movie?" I asked, confused. They are not for you, silly. They are for your parents. I bought ticket for the prequel of the new sci-fi blockbuster. It lasts 3.5 hours, which the travel time there and back. Your parents will be out of the house and off your hair for most of the night. I gave Chloe and Zoe a really big hug. They are the best BFFs ever. Thanks to them, I was going to be the perfect pet sister. Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at home. At first, I was going to keep the dogs a secret from Brianna, mainly because she has a nasty habit of blabbing any and everything to mom and dad. But there was no way I was going to be able to hide 8 dogs from mom and dad without a little help. I didn't have a choice but to trust her. Do you want to know the only thing more exhausting than taking care of Brianna? Taking care of 7 little Briannas with big ears and more hair on their backs. So it was no surprise when they completely head over heels in love with each other at first sight. I love Holly and her adorable puppies. Brianna hugs Holly and her puppies. I didn't realize how much she and the puppies had in common. 1. They are really loud and smell funny. 2. They are wiggly, messy, and like following me around the house. 3. And they could use some additional potty training. And 4. They can get away with practically anything because they are so ridiculously cute. They're like sisters and brothers from another mother. However, the downside is that now Brianna is pestering me non-stop about playing with the doggies. I was in the kitchen doing my geometry homework when she walked in. Nikki, can I let the dogs out of their cage and play with them for a little while? Please, 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 please. Not until I finish my homework, Brianna. If you let them out of their cage, you have to keep a close eye on the puppy, or else they will get into trouble. Brianna pondered what I had just said and tapped her chin in thought. Trouble? Like what kind of trouble? She asked. Brianna, if you let the dogs out of their little cage, they can get into a sort of trouble, okay? So, do you mean trouble like tearing up the pillows, digging up Mom's plant, and pooping in Dad's favorite chair? She asked casually, and then batted her eyes in innocent-like. I turned and stared at my little sister in disbelief. Brianna, don't tell me you let the dogs out of their cages. I groaned as I slammed my book shut. There was just no way I was going to finish my homework while babysitting 9 unruly animals. Okay, if you don't want me to tell you that I'll let the dogs out of their cage, they won't. I won't. Can I have cookie? Brianna quipped. OMG, I was so mad at Brianna that I wanted to release all my frustration by screaming into a pillow. But I couldn't because the puppies were basically pulling every ounce of stuffing out of each one. Cotton was scattered everywhere. It looked like there had been a major snowstorm right in the family room. That's when Brianna pointed and said, Nick, look at this mess. It's a puppy pillow fight and the pillows are losing. Just great, I sang. Okay, Brianna, here's your chance. You can take care of the dogs while I clean up this mess. If Mom and Dad see ya, I'm dead meat. Thank you, Nikki, Brianna squealed. I'm gonna be the best doggy sister ever. I got lots of practice taking care of Rover the fish a few weeks ago. Remember? How could I forget? Please don't remind me, I exclaimed. Just take the dogs up to my room and keep them out of trouble. And don't forget the doggy sack. You're going to need him. I said, handing her a box of doggy donuts. Brianna toasted one into her mouth and chewed. Yum, it's a bacon and cheese. I love these things. They're not for you, silly. If you offer the pups a doggy snack, they will follow you anywhere. Oh, I knew that, Brianna grinned sheepishly. Who wants a doggy snack? She asked, waving one in the air. The dogs immediately stopped unstuffing the pillow and happily scampered up the stairs after Brianna and the doggy snack. I have to admit it was really nice to have a little me time away from Brianna and the dogs. Frantically restuffing and sewing pillows while pricking my finger bloody was actually a lot easier than trying to entertain 8 rambunctious dogs and 1 bratty little sister. But 45 minutes later, as I was finishing up, I was suddenly overcome with paranoia. At first, I thought I was feeling faint due to a loss of blood, but I couldn't exactly put my finger on it. Probably because they were numb from being poked with the needle over and over. Something was just wrong, I finally figured. It's quiet, too quiet, I muttered to myself. Brianna is up to something. That's when I raced toward the stairs. Brianna, what are you doing with the dogs? I yelled on my way up, but there was no reply. You had better answer me or else. At the top of stairs, I found a sign sloppily written in red crayon. It was Brianna's handwriting. Quiet, please. Welcome to Miss Brady's Paw Spa. There was yet another sign further down the hall that said, Sorry, no humans allowed. This means you. So please go away. Of course, I decided to totally ignore her very rude and unprofessional signs. I had a good mind to report Paw Spa to the Better Business Bureau, but I digress. I followed the sound of classical spa music toward Brianna's bedroom. That's when I noticed that Mom's battery-powered candles gently lit the hallway, while the floor had been sprinkled with flower petals for dramatic effect. Wow, Brianna really went out for this make-believe spa, I thought. The pink rose petals are actually a nice touch, but she didn't stop at just the roses. A few feet down the hall, she had scattered lilacs and gardenias. Wait a minute, I frowned. Where did she get these? For some reason, they looked awfully familiar. Okay, I was starting to get nervous. Near my bedroom door, I saw scattered leaves, shrubbery twigs, and roots, which made me very worried. But I totally lost it when I saw the fresh dirt and confused worms scattered over Mom's new rug. Brianna's bedroom door was locked, so I pounded on it with my fist. Brianna! I screamed. I can't believe you completely mutilated Mr. Wallabanger's prize-winning flower garden. That's when a strange little woman wearing fake diamond cat-eye glasses, a long scarf, a kitty paint apron filled with a Mom's Spa Essential Collection 6-sized 2 big red heels and way too much makeup and jewelry, very cautiously opened Brianna's door and poked her head out. She glared at me, scrunched up her nose and hissed, "Shh!" Me being shushed by a strange little woman. Entrance to Paw Spa. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Miss Brady's, also known as Madame Brady's, fashionista hairstylist to the stars, and now apparently the owner of the trendy new Paw Spa for non-humans. She stared at me as I stared at her. I knew right then and there that I was in for a very long night. Thursday, 7:30 p.m. at home. Shh, this is a relaxation spot, darling. Miss Brabery scolded me. Did you not know to understand this sign? First of all, don't you dare shush me. I'm the one in charge here, I shot back. Second of all, your signs were barely legible. I hate to break it to you, madame, but you can't spell word beans. Sorry, I know nothing about the beans that you speak of. Miss Bravery is very busy, darling. Unless you are a puppy with less spa reservation, I must ask you to leave. We enforce a strict no humans allowed policy. Read this sign, please. Then she slammed the door right in my face. Bam! Miss Brianna, I'm about 3 seconds from going ape crazy. On you if you don't open this door, I growled. 1, 2, 3. Suddenly the door was flung open. Darling, please, you must calm down or I'll be forced to call security. But if you agree to keep all of the flowers you saw in the hall a big secret, then Miss Brabery will give you a discount on the peanut butter facial. Deal? Yes. I could not believe Miss Brabery was trying to bribe me. She could never buy my silence after completely destroying poor Mrs. Wallabunger's prized flower garden next door. Although that discount on a facial did sound like a pretty good deal. I love going to the spa and getting those fancy shikimi treatments, but I digress. For your information, spas have almond scrub facials, not peanut butter facial, I corrected Miss Brabery. And please don't tell me you opened that golden container of nature no sauce, no sugar peanut butter that he was saving for his birthday and put it on his dog's face. Okay then, Miss Brabery will not tell you she opened the big birthday bucket of natural peanut butter, but she never ever put a drip of the peanut butter on these dogs' faces, she exclaimed. What kind of spa do you think this is? So please, do not work that, darling. Thank goodness, I muttered to myself and breathed a sign of relief. Today we have a special on the full body peanut butter massage. So I put the peanut butter all over the dog's bodies, Miss Brabery announced proudly. Now the dog is very relaxed. See? I looked behind her and gasped. Holy innocent puppies were poked brown and covered in peanut butter. Doggies at the paw spa. OMG, what have you done? These dogs are completely covered in Dak's birthday peanut butter, I shrieked hysterically. Bah, nonsense. Miss Brabery waved her hand at me dismissively. I make the dogs beautiful. If the dogs don't look good, I don't look good. Admit it, Miss Brabery, you totally screwed up. These dogs look like some furballs that a giant cat coughed up after eating 139 peanut butter cookies, I complained. Are you even a licensed spa professional? No need to be rude, darling, Miss Brabery coughed. This station is under control. My assistant in training, Hans, has prepared a special bath. All the peanut butter covered dog will be squeaky clean very soon. Hans, please come
clean the dogs now. I couldn't help but roll my eyes when she mentioned her expenses. Hans, I'll never ever forget that guy. Hans the teddy bear was the assistant on duty at Spurcell and Brianna the day Miss Bravery accidentally chopped off my ponytail back in February. And he's an incompetent idiot, but whatever. Personally, I didn't care if the Tooth Fairy was going to help Santa Claus give these dogs a bath, as long as they were clean, back in their cage, and hidden in my room before Mom and Dad got home from the movie. Miss Bravery and I herded Holly and her puppies into the bathroom to put them into the tub for a quick bath. That's when I realized we had three very big problems. One, her poorly trained teddy bear assistant hens were floating upside down in the tub. Two, the tub wasn't filled with water. It was filled with mud. And three, it wasn't just ordinary mud. The smell of that steaming cesspool was full enough to pee the baby duck right off the bathroom wallpaper. Brianna, why is there mud in the bathtub? I screamed. And why does it smell like something that in the mud and it is still in there rotting? This mud is made of the finest of filthiest dirt, hand selected from Mrs. Wallbanger's menu compost bowl by Miss Bravery herself, she boasted. You will not find another mud bath like it anywhere in the world, darling. Me gagging at the horrid stretch of Miss Bravery's menu and mud bath. OMG, the hot mud and manual bath smelled so bad it actually stung my nose hairs. It was like I could actually taste it. Ew! I gasped and clugged my nose. That's it, Brianna. I'm shutting you down, I yelled. This pretend spa's closed. Sorry, but this has to be in violation of at least a dozen of city health codes. But Nikki, I'm not finished yet, Brianna whined. After the mud bath, Hans was going to give the dogs a jelly manicure. See, she had up a jar of grape jelly and a great plastic spoon. What are you talking about? It's a jelly manicure, not a jelly manicure, I corrected her. Now get your teddy bear out of this tub so I can clean up this stinky mess. Hans, get out of that tub or you're fired, Miss Bravery screamed as she grabbed his leg and tugged on him really hard. This is what happened. OMG, I couldn't believe it. Hans flew out across the room like a torpedo and landed head first right in the toilet with a huge splash. Of course, Miss Bravery and I totally freaked out because thanks to Hans, now we are japping the menu and the toilet water. Ew! And by the time Brianna and I had to chase down the dogs and herded them back into their cages, we were covered with menu, toilet water, and peanut butter. Surprisingly, taking care of the 8 dogs has not been my most difficult task. It's been taking care of Brianna. Sorry, but all night she's been acting like a pack of wild dogs. The last time I checked, Hans was still floating in the toilet, which wasn't so bad considering the fact that the toilet was 10 times more sanitary than that mud bath. The dog was filthy, the bathroom was filthy, and even Brianna and I were filthy. There were just no way I could clean up all this filth before my parents got home. Alas, they were coming home in 2 weeks.
My mom and dad were going to freak when they discovered not one dog, but 8 sticky peanut butter covered dogs hiding in their filthy house. I was completely failure and the worst pet sitter ever. Although judging from the looks of Rihanna, I was probably an even worse babysitter. So I decided to do what any normal, responsible teen would do when faced with 8 dogs and one bratty little sister covered in manure, toilet water, and peanut butter. I flopped down in the middle of a bathroom and floor, closed my eyes, and burst into tears. Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. at home. I don't know exactly how long I had been lying on the bathroom floors crying. I just remember hearing the doorbell ringing and wondering 3 things. 1. Why mom and dad were home so early from the movie theater. 2. And why they were ringing the doorbell instead of using their key to the front door. And 3. Whether they were going to ground me until my senior year of high school or my freshman years of college. Finally, Brianna poked her head in the bathroom and told me what I already knew. Nikki, you better come downstairs quick. Someone is at the front door ringing the doorbell, she exclaimed. And it's Mom and Dad. I'm going to lock myself in my bed and play Princess Sugar Paw. But if they are really mad, just tell them I ran away, okay? I could not believe Brianna was just going to throw me under the bus like that. This whole thing was her idea. Miss Bravery's paw spa was a hot mess. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Just great. I could tell Mom and Dad were mad just by the way they were ringing the doorbell. Still covered in toilet water, manure, and peanut butter, I sadly trudged downstairs to answer the door. All I could really say to my parents was that I was truly sorry. I had learned my lesson and I would never ever lie to them or hide anything from them again. I slowly opened the door and was completely shocked to see Brandon. Hi Nikki. Brandon, OMG, what are you doing here? I gasped. Nikki, are you okay? He asked, looking panicked. I called your cell to see how things were going with the dogs, and well, this really weird lady with a thick accent answered. She said you couldn't come to the phone because you were really mad about the peanut butter and the mud, and you were crying in the bathroom. She said something about pants being in the toilet, and you closed her paw spa. None of it made any sense, and there she just hung up on me. It was so bizarre. What? I spluttered. I was shocked. Brianna had actually answered my cell phone and talked to Brandon. I could not believe that girl was putting all my personal business in the streets like that. Brandon continued, I thought I had the wrong number, so I called you back. The same lady answered and told me not to call her again or she was contacting the cops. Anyway, since I was right in the neighborhood working on a project, I thought I had just dropped by to make sure everything was okay. You and the dogs are okay, right? What lady had me worried, and what's that smell? Pew, I said, blinking his eyes. Really felt like an order, just thinking them or something. Sorry, but I was not about to tell Brandon the truth. That he had trusted me with the dogs and I was completely an utter failure as a pet sitter. So I decided to just lie about how I had read in Teen Thing magazine that washing dogs in peanut butter and manure compost kills fleas within 10 miles. And gave them really shiny coats. And yes, it had turned out to be a bit messier than I had anticipated. So I was in the process of cleaning the dogs my little sister has in the teddy bear and half of the entire upstairs. Then I decided to change the subject. So Brandon, you said you were in the neighborhood? Yes. Yeah, I was actually right next door in the White House. My good friend Max Crumbly and I are working on our project for the science fair. It's due tomorrow. That house? I asked, surprised. You were at Mrs. Wallabanger's? Yeah, Mrs. Wallabanger is Max's grandmother. Our project is called using this television to turn dirty water into clean drinking water. Wow, Brandon, our bio teacher mentioned the science fair. Your project sounds really complicated. Actually, it's not. It involves taking dirty water and turning it into clean drinking water. With enough research, one day this process could help provide clean water to third world nations. Anyway, for our project to work, we need to use dirty water occurring naturally in the environment. That's totally amazing, I gushed. We plan to use dirty runoff water from Mrs. Wahlbanger's compost pile, but we just discovered that it's gone. So it looks like we might not be entering the science fair after all. Whoa, what happened? I asked, concerned. I know it sounds hard to believe, it looks like somebody vandalized her backyard and stole her compost. They also took off her prized flowers. Max's grandma and sister arch frenemy Trixie Claire Joel Hollister is behind it. They have been rivals since high school. Mrs. Wallabanger has been winning first place in all the local flower shows lately, and she said Trixie Hollister is a rich, spoiled, jealous, sore loser. I was almost sure that Hollister lady was probably Mackenzie's grandmother or grandaunt. I felt bad they were blaming her, but I didn't want to throw Brianna under the bus either. Well, I'm really sorry to hear you and Max might not be entering the science fair because, wait a minute, I think I just might have some compost lying around that I don't need. Random looks surprised. You do? Really? Wow, that's great news. Can we borrow some for our project? Actually, you can have all of it. I was planning to get rid of it anyway, but I'll need a little help if you guys don't mind. So I cleaned the filthy toilet. Brandon cleaned the filthy bathtub. He really Miss Bravery's spa mud. And his friend Max cleaned the filthy dogs in Mrs. Wahlbanger's backyard. Max giving Holly and puppies as a bath. Brandon introduced me to his good friend Max Crumbly. He was nice, friendly, smart, and almost as cute as Brandon. Squee! Nikki, meet my good friend Max Crumbly. He's Mrs. Wallabanger's grandson. Brandon said Max is a really good artist like me and attends South Ridge Public Middle School just down the street. They both thanked me for helping them out with their science project and invited me to attend. Anyway, by the time my parents got home from the movie, everything and everyone was squeaky clean and fast asleep. Yes, I admit that the evening was a complete disaster. Why did I ever think I could take care of 8 dogs when I could barely keep a pet rock alive? But in the end, everything worked out just fine. Maybe Miss Bravery's whole full-body peanut butter message did relax the dog. They have been quiet as mice all night. I just hope tomorrow will be a lot less drama. Mom and Dad were chaperoning all day field trip to the Westchester Zoo for Rihanna's class, so the 3 of them will already be gone by the time I get up. I'll just let the dogs run, play, and nap in my bedroom with their pee-pee mat until I get home from school. Then by the time my family is back from the field trip, Brandon will have picked up the dogs and taken them to Chloe's house. And my pet sitting duties will be successfully completed. Which means I will have kept 8 dogs right under my parents' nose for 24 hours without them ever suspecting a thing. Am I not an evil genius? Ha ha ha. Well, I had better get some sleep. Friday, May 2, 7 o'clock a.m. at home. That was me screaming in terror. At first, I didn't know if I was actually dreaming or awake. I was praying the very horrible thing I saw was just a really bad nightmare. I had awakened, showered, and got dressed. Then I had taken care of Holly and her pups. They were in my room playing and romping around when I went downstairs to grab breakfast and head off to school. Warning, this is the scary nightmare part. Just like the people in those horror movies, I was supposed to be home alone. So I totally freaked when I walked into the kitchen and saw Mom! Me in shock. Mom is still home when she was supposed to be gone. I was like, good morning, Mom. So what are you doing here? Mom looked at me kind of strange. Well, right now I'm making a cup of coffee. What I meant was, aren't you and Dad supposed to be gone all day? You know, chaperoning Brianna's class at the zoo. Actually, it was cancelled due to the forecast of thunder showers. And since I have already taken the time from work, I decided to just stay home and relax. What? You're staying home all day? Are you sure? I gasped. Yes, I'm sure, honey. Are you feeling okay? You kind of look like you just saw a ghost or something. Actually, Mom, I felt just fine until I walked into this kitchen. Now I want to throw up. What I mean is, yes, I'm not sick at all, and I'm feeling very fine. Actually, I blabbed. Okay, I was humongous problem. No way I could leave the dog in my bedroom with Mom in the house all day. And even if I stashed them in the garbage, she had probably stumbled upon them out there too. I needed to go get them out of the house, and fast. If one of the pups even sneezed, there was a good chance Mom would hear it, all alone in the house with 8 dogs. Unlike my school, which was busy, crowded, and practically a zoo, that place was usually so noisy I could barely hear my own thoughts. As crazy as it sounded, I didn't have a choice but to take the dogs to school with me, or face the wrath of Mom. I texted Chloe and Zoe and made them aware of the impending catastrophe. They told me to remain calm and meet them at the side door near the school library ASAP. But I still had to resolve 2 very minor yet important questions. Since no ordered pizza for breakfast at 7 a.m., Queasy Cheesy was still closed and their drivers were not available. So how was I supposed to convince my mom or dad to drive me and 8 dogs to school without them ever discovering the dogs? That's when I suddenly remembered that my BFFs and I were meeting near the library, and it had lots and lots of books. So I grabbed a marker, paper, blanket, and wagon and created a perfect doggy disguise. Books for a library. I had barely finished covering the dog's cage with Brianna's old baby bath blanket when I suddenly heard the garage door open. Brianna's eye got as big as a saucer, and she looked like she was about to wet her pants. When I turned around, Dad was standing there with a mug of coffee, staring right at the dog cage. OMG! I was so staggered, I almost lost my biscuits and gravy breakfast. Dad looked at the dog cage and then looked at me and then back at the dog's cage again. I thought for sure I was busted until he said, "So Nikki, it looks like you're going to need some help getting those library books to school. I'll go lock the vans and load you up." I was speechless and very happy. My dad had volunteered to take the library books to school. "Thanks, Dad," I said. "I really appreciate it." "That's big, a lot of books. Where did you find them, Nikki?" he said, taking a swig of coffee. "Actually, someone left them all on a doorstep, and I have been taking care of them until I could find them a home." "Well, a home in our school library, of course," I exclaimed nervously. Dad unlocked the van door and went back into the house to let Mom know he was driving me to school. I quickly wheeled the books out of the van, and Brianna helped me load up everything inside before he returned. As Dad pulled out of the driveway, I turned on the radio and blasted his favorite golden oldies music station so loud I thought my ears were going to bleed. Luckily, the loud music made it almost impossible for Dad to hear the dogs bark. But if he had glanced at the library books behind him, he would have been in for a really big surprise. My heart was pounding in my chest like the bass to my favorite rap song as I just adjusted the blanket to cover the curious puppies. What was I thinking? I must have been suffering from temporary insanity when I came up with the ridiculous idea to bring 8 dogs to school. I was already dreading my day at school, and it hadn't even started yet. Friday, 7:55 a.m. at school. As planned, Chloe and Zoe were waiting for me by the side door near the library. "Hey, hi guys!" I jumped out of the van, grabbed their arms and led them to the back of the van so Dad couldn't hear. "So will you help me unload the books?" "Books?" Zoe asked. "What books?" I gave her and Chloe a wink. "Oh, those books, sure," Zoe said. "Nikki, what happened to the dogs?" Chloe blurted out. Are they still in your bedroom? I thought you were bringing them with you to school today." And Zoe gave Chloe a swift kick to shut her up. "Ow, that hurt," Chloe whined. "Need any help, girl?" Dad asked, standing right behind us. OMG, he nearly scared the kibbles and bits out of us. I really wish he had stopped sneaking up on people like that. He opened the back door of the van and reached for the loads of library books. "No," I said, grabbing his hand. "No thanks, Dad. We got this. Mrs. Peach could fire us from working at the library. You understand, right?" "Not really, but fine," he shrugged. "You kids are more nervous than a wet cat. It's like you're trying to smuggle mice into a cheese factory or something." "Not quite. We're trying to smuggle 8 dogs into middle school." Chloe, Zoe, and I looked at each other and giggled nervously. Not because his joke was funny, but because Holly's tail was hanging out from under the blanket. "So girls, what's so funny?" Giggle, giggle, giggle. After Chloe, Zoe, and I unloaded the dog cage and wagon, he waved goodbye to my dad and wheeled the books into the library. "Keeping the dog cage in here might be risky," I said, looking around. "What if Mrs. Peach sees the sign and thinks it's actually a library book?" Maybe if we change the sign to garbage, he won't look, Chloe reasoned. But then she might throw it out. I know. How about snakes? Then she wouldn't go near it. No, we should hide the dogs in safe, top secret place that only we know about. Like, Zoe said, tapping her chin. Suddenly, we all had the exactly same idea. The janitor's closet! We yelled excitedly. We quickly wheeled the cage down the hall to the janitor's closet. We rolled the cage inside and closed the door. I just hope the dogs aren't too noisy, Zoe said, pulling up the blanket and folded up. Well, we can't listen to them with this, I said, reaching inside my backpack and pull out the baby monitor. Chloe turned it on and placed the receiver part on top of the cage and handed the speaker part to me. All the puppies were resting and Holly quietly stared out at us, probably curious about her strange new surroundings. Look, Chloe said, her water bottle is empty. I'll fill it back up so she won't get thirsty. Okay, but just make sure you close the cage when you're done so they can't get out, I said, turning the volume on the receivers too high. I wanted to make sure I could hear every little sound. Then I placed it all inside my backpack. We said goodbye to the dogs, carefully closed the janitor's closet door, and headed for our lockers. Today, students were reporting to their homerooms for first hour instead of our regular classes. This worked out for us since we were all in the same homeroom. Whatever you do, act naturally and stay cool, I whispered to Chloe and Zoe as we took our seats. And just think positive thoughts, Zoe whispered. Yeah, because if someone finds those dogs in the janitor's closet, I'm positive we'll be kicked out of this school like a soccer ball, Chloe added in a whisper. I was like, thanks a lot, Chloe. After hearing her positive thoughts, I was more worried than ever. Friday, 8:27 a.m. in homeroom class. The classroom was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Then, boom, splash, bark, yep, crash. The loud noises from my backpack startled me so badly I practically jumped out of my seat. OMG, it sounded like pure puppy pandemonium. I immediately regretted that I had turned up the volume of the baby monitor so high. I also immediately regretted that I hadn't checked to make sure Chloe had closed that cage door after refilling Holly's water bowl. Every single person in the room heard it, including Chloe and Zoe. I totally panicked. My startled teacher stopped writing on the board, walked over to my desk, and gawked at me. Goodness, what is all that noise? It's my stomach. Grr, bark, thump, bang, squeal. Me distracting the class with my very noisy stomach sounds. Nikki, are you okay? She asked, looking very concerned. Have you ever been so queasy that your stomach sounds like 7 dogs fighting in a tilty closet? That's totally me right now. I grabbed my stomach and faked a very loud and painful moan. My teacher shuddered at the thought. Actually, no, I haven't. Thankfully, she muttered. Yep, bang, squeal, bark, crash. Sorry, but this could get really ugly, I said, and then moaned really long and loud like a moose with a bad toothache. Mostly, I was trying my hardest to cover up the noise from my backpack, but I don't think it was working. I'm really worried about you, Nikki. Maybe it's something that didn't agree with you? My teacher asked. Probably. Remember that blue cheese macaroni casserole from lunch yesterday, only it was actually more of a moldy green color and smelled like fermented skunk spit. I ate 3 large bowls of it. Ugh. I watched as kids practically scotted their desks out of my poking range. Come on, even if I really had eaten that stuff, they wouldn't need to move away like that. Hey, they had need to swim out of the room. I'm just saying, squeal, bark, crash, yip, yip, bang, grr, bark, yip, crash, bang, crash. A few kids were staring at me in horror like I was possessed by the drum section of a small middle school marching band. What were those dogs doing in there? Chasing bowling balls and playing fetch with a mop bucket? Ow, ow, ow! Story suddenly yelled like a coyote howling at the moon. Teacher, I had too much of that moldy macaroni too. I'm so sick. Then Chloe joined in. Moo, quick, quack, quack, oink, oink, cock-a-doodle-doo. Girlfriends are definitely overdoing the theatrics. She sounded like a barnyard at sunrise. Then for dramatic effect, I reenacted that infamous scene from that time Mackenzie threw up in French class. Hell, I think we're gonna toe up. Moo, oink, ow. Chloe, Zoe, and me pretending to be very sick. OMG, that's when the entire class went completely nuts. Everyone knows that pucking can be contagious. It's probably never been scientifically proven, but still, at least 4 other kids were holding their mouth and starting to look really sick too. Only unlike Chloe, Zoe, and me, those kids were probably really going to throw up. Just one kid getting sick in the class was super gross. Ew! But 4 at the same time, quadruple ew. I definitely needed one to be around when that happened. Oh no, my teacher cried, suddenly realizing the gravity of the situation. All 3 of you are immediately excused. Now hurry before your lunch comes to say hello all over my clean floor. Go, please, just go. It was quite clear the teacher had heard about the Mackenzie Puck fiasco, because this lady was not having it in her classroom. Chloe, Zoe, and I exchanged glances. In spite of our very bad acting skills, our plan was obviously working. Thank you, teacher, I grimaced. Then I grabbed my backpack and the 3 of us staggered out of the room all queasy-like. But as soon as I closed the door, we sprinted down the hall toward the janitor's closet like we were competing in a 100-meter dash. Chloe, Zoe, and me racing down the hall to check on the dogs. Friday, 8:38 a.m. in the janitor's closet. As we sprinted down the hall, it felt like the janitor's closet was 2 miles away. But by the time we reached it, we were practically frantic and completely out of breath. I cautiously opened the door and the 3 of us peeked in. OMG! I couldn't believe the huge mess that dogs had made. It gave a whole new meaning to that popular old school song, Who Let the Dogs Out? But mostly, we couldn't believe all the fun the puppy seems to be having. Everything in their room had been chewed, gone, stripped, scratched, torn, tattered, shattered, shredded, or broken. But thank goodness the dogs were all in one piece and doing just fine. There were mounds of powdered detergent, puddles of dirt, mop
water, soap suds, and shredded toilet paper everywhere. 2 puppies were playing with the water hose in the mop sink. I'm no dog whisperer, but I think Holly was totally embarrassed by her puppies' antics. It was hard to believe that such little puppies could make such humongous mess. It actually looked like they had thrown a wild house party in there and trashed the place. It's going to take at least an hour to clean this mess up, Zoe groaned. We'll just have to come back and tackle it during lunch when we have more time. Yeah, I know. But we need to get the dogs out of here first, I muttered. Where else can we put them? Chloe asked. Mrs. Peach will be in the library all afternoon, so that's not an option. Guys, I have a really crazy idea, I grinned. Then I'm pretty sure it will probably work, or wreck our lives and get us expelled from school. Wow, sounds just perfect, Zoe replied sarcastically and rolled her eyes. Just hear me out, I said. Principal Winston is out of the building all day today for the meeting at the high school, right? Well, since he's not in his office, I know, Chloe interrupted excitedly. We can just skip school for the rest of the day and take the dogs to my house. Since he's not here, he won't know and we won't get expelled, right? Not exactly, Chloe. Just listen, okay? I said mildly annoyed. We could hide the dogs in his office and no one will ever find them. That's because absolutely no one would even dare go in there without his permission, unless they were really stupid or something. Zoe slapped her palm on her forehead. Am I the only one who sees the irony here? Shush. There's an iron in here, Chloe asked, looking around. Where is it? Like, who would iron clothes in a janitor's closet? Ooh, I know the janitor, right? Chloe, I say irony. Zoe sighed. I know. I heard you the first time, but I still don't see any iron, Chloe muttered. Chloe, there's no iron. Trust me, I said. I didn't think so. Tell that to Zoe, Chloe grumped. Come on, Zoe, I argued. If you have a better idea, let's hear it. Actually, I think Chloe's really stupid idea of skipping school is better and less risky, she grumbled. I just rolled my eyes at Chloe and didn't say a word. Finally, Zoe signed. Nikki, if you think your plan will actually work, let's try. We definitely can't keep the dogs in here. Great, I smiled. Now listen carefully, guys. My plan is very, very simple. All we have to do is sneak the dogs into Principal Winston's office, keep them from totally trashing the place like they did the janitor's closet, make sure no one accidentally discovers them, and then sneak back into his office at the end of the school day and take them home. Like, how hard can that be? Zoe just folded her arms and stared at me. So that's the plan. Do you guys have any questions? I asked happily. Yes, I think Chloe and I have the same question, Zoe muttered. Are you crazy? Okay, I wasn't quite expecting that question, but hey, that's Chloe and Zoe. You gotta love them. Friday, 8:43 a.m. in the school office. Coming up with the idea to hide the dogs in the Principal Winston's office was pretty easy. However, figuring out how to get the dogs into Principal Winston's office was the hard part. So this was a master plan. Chloe was going to lock herself in a bedroom stall and pretend to be sick. We had asked the office secretly to check on Chloe because we were worried about her. While the secretary was out of the office, Zoe and I would simply roll the dog cage into Principal Winston's office and close his door.
Since his office was in a separate corridor from the noisy main office, it would be pretty hard to hear the dogs unless they made a huge racket. Then, at the end of the day, we had simply asked to retrieve our box of library books that had inadvertently ended up in Principal Winston's office. Instead of in the library, I knew my plan was far-fetched, ill-conceived, and very risky, but I didn't have any other options except to confess everything to my parents. We were scoping out the office when the door opened and I secretly walked down the hall and disappeared into the teacher's lounge. We couldn't believe our luck. With the office temporarily unattended, we had to have the perfect opportunities to sneak the dogs into the principal's office. We grabbed a wagon and rushed into the office only to discover some good news and some bad news. The bad news was that there was a student office assistant on duty. But the good news was that it was our friend Mercy. Good morning, Nikki, Chloe, and Zoe. So, how could I help you? Our good friend Mercy is the student office assistant on duty. What's up, Marcy? I said. We have a really big favor we had like to ask you. It's kind of a secret. She stared at the wagon behind us with a puzzled look on her face. Then she read the sign and blinked in disbelief. OMG, I can't believe you guys would actually do something like this, and you expect me to keep it a secret? This entire school needs to know that you're doing, Marcy screeched excitedly. It seemed really clear from her over-the-top reaction that she must have spotted a puppy peeking out from under the blanket, or a wayward tail wagging or something. Just great. We were so busted. Chloe, Zoe, and I went into panic mode. Listen, Mercy, I can explain all of this. Just give me a chance, please, I pleaded with her. With the security return from her break, I'm sure she's going to be as shocked and surprised by what you're doing as I am. Of course, she will inform Principal Winston the minute he gets back, Marcy continued. Actually, Marcy, it looks you're pretty busy here, so we really should be getting back to class, Zoe exclaimed. Have a nice day, but Chloe totally lost it. Oh no, we're going to get expelled from school and our parents are going to kill us, she shrieked hysterically, and she grabbed her stomach. Ugh, I think I'm going to be sick. For real, cock-a-doodle-doo, moo oink. Okay, Marcy, I won't bother to explain what we're trying to do. So just forget we were even here, I said, frustration. No, you don't have to explain anything. It's quite obvious. You're collecting books donation for the library. Again, right. You guys are unbelievable. Our school is really lucky to have dedicated students like you to give of yourselves. Principal Winston should give each of you the Student of the Year award. I'm just so proud and honored to be your friend, Mercy Garsh. Now, what can I do to help? Chloe, Zoe, and I glanced at each other and giggled nervously. Phew, that was close. I was glad Marcy had offered to help us, but after her glowing compliment, asking her to abuse her position as student office assistant by helping us smuggle 8 dogs into Principal Winston's office has suddenly gotten a lot harder. I had chosen to get involved in all of this to try to help Brandon save Holly and her puppies. But to involve innocent people like my BFFs and now Mercy, I felt like a snake. A dishonest manipulative, and very desperate snake. I didn't have a choice but to call my parents and tell them everything before I got my parents and myself into serious trouble. Thanks, Marcy. So does this mean we're not getting expelled from sneaking Holly and our puppies into schools? Chloe blurted out. Zoe gave Chloe a swift kick to shut her up. Ah, that hurt, Chloe groaned and shot Zoe a dirty look. Puppies? Did you just say puppies? Marcy gasped excitedly. OMG, I love puppies. I've been begging my parents to get one, like, forever. Where are they? Can I see them, please? Okay, that's when I decided not to call my parents and tell them about Holly and her puppies. So what if I'm a sneaky snake? I told Marcy all about Holly and her pups and how we were helping Brandon and save them. Then I let her have a peek at them. Squee! Total cuteness overload. Me showing Mercy the dogs. Mercy didn't seem the least bit disappointed that our library books were actually dogs. And after hearing about our doggy dilemma, Mercy agreed that Principal Winston's office would make the perfect hideout until the end of the school day, especially since Principal Winston wasn't expected to return during school hours. Mercy, we really appreciate you offering to help, but are you sure you want to do this? If we get caught, you could get detention or worse, I wonder. Well, to be honest, I'm not that worried about detention. I just don't want to be demoted from office assistant to team uniform assistant. The sweetie guy on our wrestling team are the worst. After practice, their uniforms smell like dumpster juice and swamp gas, she complained. Eek. Marcy, we totally understand if you're having second thoughts about helping us, I said sympathetically. Yeah, we would ask you to do something this crazy and risky unless it was for a really good cause, Zoe explained. But Chloe was no help whatsoever. She made a sad pouty face like she was about to cry. Marcy, just look at these cute little faces, Chloe squeaked in baby talk. Don't you just oof them these little dogsies? Yes, you will do. Almost as if on cue, all 8 dogs gave us the biggest, saddest, most angelic puppy dog eyes ever. Ah! The 4 of us gushed. Poor little puppies are really sad, Chloe said glumly. Okay, guys, I'm in. Marcy sniffed. I have to be completely heartless to say no to those cute little faces. I already of them. I will really do. Chloe, Zoe, and I were so happy we gave Marcy a group hug. Thanks, guys. Marcy smiled. The security will be coming back from her break any minute now. We need to get these dogs moved into Principal Winston's office right away. I guess the fact that we were actually about to hide 8 dogs in the principal's office must have finally snuck in or something. Because suddenly my heart started to pound and my palms got super sweaty and my stomach started to feel like very queasy for real. I took a deep breath, nodded, and calmly said, Okay, Marcy, let's do this. But inside my head, I was totally freaking out. I wanted to run out of the office, hysterically screaming, No! I just hope my crazy plan actually works. Friday, 8:57 a.m. in the principal's office. Marcy cautiously turned the knob to Principal Winston's office and click. OMG, we nearly jumped out of our skin. Ah! Chloe shrieked and grabbed my arm. Okay, so that was the loudest doorknob click ever. But still, there was no need for Chloe to act like she had just seen an ex-murderer or something. Chloe, let go of my arm, I shouted. Sorry, she muttered. I'm just a little jumpy, okay? The four of us nervously tiptoed to the dark office, wheeling the dog cage behind us. For some reason, it felt really creepy in there. Like at any second, some nightmarish creature was going to crawl out of the shadows, grab us with its long, bony claws, and do something really horrible to us. You know, like Annor's us in summer school. Eek! Marcy stopped in the middle of the room. Shh. Do you guys hear that sound? I definitely heard it. Knock, 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 knock. Oh no, Zoe gasped. I think someone is knocking on the door. We're doomed. That's not the door. It's Chloe's niece, I said, rolling my eyes. Hey, I already told you I was a little jumpy, Chloe snarked. This place feels like a haunted house or something. Does anyone have a flashlight? That's it. I can't handle this, Marcy cried. I'm going to do what I should have done in the beginning. She turned and headed straight for the door. I could not believe she would just panic and dump us like that. Wait, Marcy, come back! I shouted. Well, it looks like she had rather funky wrestler uniforms that hang out with us puppy smugglers. Chloe grumbled. Traitor. Chloe, Zoe, and I freaked out as Marcy heard for the door. When Marcy reached the door, she stopped. Then she hit the switch on the wall and bring lights to the flooded the room. Chloe, Zoe, and I blinked in surprise. There, isn't this a lot better? Marcy said as she opened the curtains on the window. I don't know about you guys, but the darkness was giving me serious goosebumps. Chloe's fright subsided as we looked around. The office was a lot less Temple of Doom looking with the lights on. Actually, it was kind of on the boring side. Cheesy looking certificates hung on the walls, a bookcase filled with dusty books, and a clock set next to a framed family photo. A big candy jar sat on his desk along with stacks of paper. I couldn't help but shudder hopefully. Today was the first and the last time I had been hanging out in the principal's office. I folded the doggy blanket and placed it in the wagon. All the dogs had cuddled together and were about to take their mid-morning nap. I think they're still exhausted from that big party that they had in the janitor's closet. So they will probably just sleep for the rest of the day. You won't even know they're here, I assured Marcy. Great, I'll come back to check on them every hour between classes. And if there's a problem, I'll text you, Nikki. Marcy explained. Otherwise, just meet me here after school to pick them up. Thanks, Mercy. You're a lifesaver, I said. Suddenly, Mercy froze. Shh, I hear another strange sound, she whispered. Smack, 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 smack. I definitely heard it too. Alarms. Mercy, Zoe, and I stared at the door. Were those footsteps? OMG! What if the security was coming in to place Principal Winston's mail on his desk and discovered up us in here? I quickly searched the room for the hiding spot. Maybe we should hide in that closet, I shouted. Hey guys, don't freak out, it's just me, Chloe giggled. We turned around to see her smacking loudly on the last few pieces of chocolate in Principal Winston's candy jar. Smack, 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 smack. Chloe snurfing down candy crumb from Principal Winston's candy jar. Sorry if I sound like a pig, but those mini candy bar thingies are delish. Evidently, in the 60 seconds we had our backs turned, Chloe has somehow crammed most of the candy bars from that big candy jar into her dainty little mouth. Seriously, how did she do that? Does her jaw unhinge when she eats like those huge snakes on the Animal Planet TV show? Anyway, in spite of Chloe's noisy feeding frenzy, the dogs had finally fallen asleep. Marcy turned out the lights and we rushed back to the main office, and just in time too, as we headed into the hall on our way to class. The security held the door open for us. Have a nice day, girls, she smiled. You too, we said, and smiled back at her. Anyway, thank goodness the dogs are safely hidden away in Principal Winston's office where no one will find them. Now all I have to do is just survive the rest of the school day, which is about 5 hours. How hard can that be? Friday noon, in the janitor's closet, Chloe, Zoe, and I gobbled down our lunch as fast as we could. Then we snuck out of the cafeteria and rushed straight to the janitor's closet as planned. The room looked like it had been hit by a Category 3 hurricane. It seemed like it was going to take us forever to clean up the huge mess those dogs had made. Although my BFFs and I hated cleaning our bedrooms and loathed putting dishes in the dishwasher, we somehow managed to finish up by the time lunch was over. How? We donned our rubber gloves and combined our strength to become the powerful superheroes known as the Lean Mean Team Cleaning Machine. Unfortunately for us, we also ended up smelling like the janitor's closet, which is a combination of soap, toilet bowl cleaner, and musty moldy mop. Ew! Anyway, Mercy has been checking on the dogs every hour between classes, and she said she had texted me if anything came up. I haven't heard from her, so no news is good news. Maybe this whole dog sitting thing is going to work out after all. Just a few more hours left until the end of the school day. Squee! Friday, 1:00 p.m. in biology class. The big science fair is today after school, and students are already setting up in the gym. My bio teacher had a flyer posted on her wall. Citywide Science Fair, Westchester Country Day Middle School, Friday, May 2nd, 4:00 p.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, May 3rd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cash prizes, food, fun. For more info and project entry form, visit the WCD Middle School website. Since half of the students in our biology class were in the gym setting up for the science fair, for the fair, including Brandon, our teacher told us we could spend the hour quietly reviewing for our chapter test next week. It was nice having the extra time to study bio, but to be honest, I was bored out of my skull. Why study for the bio chapter test today when I can't just procrastinate and study for it next week? Anyway, I just checked my text messages and didn't have any from Mercy, so the dogs must be being okay. And school will be over soon. But just in case there is a problem, I wanted to be totally prepared. So I decided to use my class time wisely and write an excuse generator modes just for fun. Excuse generator for why there are 8 dogs in Principal Winston's office. To Principal Winston from Nikki J. Maxwell. Dear Principal Winston, you are probably wondering why there are 8 dogs in your office. So please allow me to explain. But first, I sincerely want you to know about I'm just as shocked, confused, hungry, bold as you are about this very troubling situation. I was on my way to class this morning when I thought I heard scratching, burping, singing, cock-a-doodle-doo. At one of the exit doors, I assumed it was just a pizza delivery guy, a circus clown, a rabbit squirrel, a bloodthirsty vampire. I trying to get in, so I opened the door just a tiny bit to get a quick peek. But before I could stop them, 8 dogs quickly ran inside. I tried to catch them, but they were faster than lightning, uncontrolled deer, a slug in an ice storm, a race car driver with 4 flat tires. And they somehow disappeared down a hallway, so I thoroughly searched every single classroom, toilet, locker, garbage dumpster, but I still couldn't find him. This made me so frustrated that I wanted to eat a peanut butter jelly and a pickle sandwich. Pick my nose, do the hockey pocky, take a bubble bath, and then sob hysterically. The only place I hadn't searched was your office, and that was because I didn't want to break any school rules and possibly risk getting expelled from WCD, an after-school detention, a serve case for a diaper rash, a zit on my nose the size of a raisin, which unfortunately would become part of my permanent school record and possibly prevent me from getting admitted to a major university. Sadly, I had no choice but to search for the dogs in your office. Of course, as soon as I found them there, I immediately wet my pants, fainted, took a selfie, stepped in a doggy poo, which was such a traumatic experience that it will take me years to recover. Unfortunately, the dogs were merely eating student report cards, drinking out of the toilet, chewing a hole in your leather office chair, taking a nap. So your office was not heavily damaged. I had just left your office to call Fuzzy Friends Animal Rescue Center to pick up. The dogs hadn't found them homes when I discovered you had returned and found the dogs in your office. I will never again open our school doors for 8 Regnant Retrievers, 7 prissy poodles, 6 yappy Yorkies, 5 dorky Dalmatian, and a partridge in a pear tree. Because I have learned my lesson. Sincerely, Nikki Friday, 3:05 p.m. in the school library. It's hard to believe a day that started to so horribly wrong and it's ending so perfectly right. Chloe, Zoe, and I were working in the library as LSAs, library shelving assistants, when Brandon stopped by. We both had been really busy with stuff and hadn't seen each other all day. Hey, Nikki, I just wanted to thank you again for that compost for my science project. I gave the leftovers to Mrs. Wallabanger and she was thrilled. She planned to use it to fix her flower garden. No problem. I'm always happy to help. I smiled. Then Brandon got super serious. But most of all, thank you for helping me with Holly and her pups. You've been just awesome, he gushed, and as he brushed his shaggy bangs out of his eyes. Then he stared right into the murky depth of my fragile but tortured soul. OMG, I thought I was going to melt into a big puddle of sticky goo right there at the front of the desk. Squeak! I decided to be perfectly honest with Brandon because true friendship is based on honesty, trust, and mutual respect, right? Thanks, Brandon. I have to admit I've had some challenging moments with the dogs, but overall things have gone really well and they have been a lot of fun. Okay, so maybe I wasn't completely honest. Yes, I know. I very confidently laughed out the fact that my mom had told me I couldn't dog sit, but I had done it anyway and kept the dogs hidden in my bedroom. And I didn't mention how my mom had decided to stay home this morning, which meant I couldn't leave the dogs at the house as originally planned. I also skipped the part about me bringing the dogs to school today. And the fact that Chloe, Zoe, and I had hidden them in the janitor's closet, and how Marcy had helped us smuggle them into Principal Winston's office while he was out for the day. So I guess you could say I basically lied to Brandon but not telling him things. Sort of. But get this, he said he planned to thank me for all of my help by getting us cupcakes and at the cupcakery sometime soon. Squeak! I was really happy to hear that news, and so work those noisy snoops, Chloe and Zoe. Anyway, in less than 1 hour, we'll be meeting Marcy to pick up the dogs from the principal's office. And then Chloe will take over. Chloe and Zoe are both really lucky because their parents know about the dogs, so they won't have to sneak around or hide them in their bedrooms like I did. I'm just happy I survived the past 24 hours, and so did all the dogs. Squeak! I don't mean to brag or anything, but I've been the perfect pet sitter. Friday, 3:48 p.m. at my locker. Okay, must not panic. I just got some text messages from Mercy. Mercy, waiting for you guys in the minister's office. Dogs are fine. See you soon. Me, great. At my locker, waiting for Chloe and Zoe. Should be there in about 2 minutes. Mercy, BTW, dog water bottle is empty. Is it okay to give them more water? Please do not open the dog cage, so no water. Mercy, are you sure they look thirsty? Me, do not open dog cage. Mercy, oops. Me, what happened? Me, Mercy. Mercy, help! This is what happened. Mercy opened the dog cage. I was about to rush off to rescue Marcy when I heard someone calling my name. Nikki, wait up! I need to talk to you. Brandon jogged up and leaned on my locker, completely out of breath. Phew! I just ran all the way from the gym to the library and then here. But I'm glad I caught you before you left. I forgot to mention this earlier, but is anyone at your house right now? That's what I got. Another text from Mercy. Marcy, trying to put dogs back in the cage. Impossible. Where are you guys? Actually, Brenda, my mom is home right now. She didn't go to work today. Why do you ask? Great, since I have to be at the science fair until 7 o'clock this evening, I just sent a queasy, cheesy driver to your house to pick up the dogs and take them to Chloe's house. Is that okay? I just stared at Brandon with my mouth dangling open. Wait a minute, you already sent the driver to my house? Yes, Brandon answered. To pick up the dogs? Yes, from my mom? I practically screeched. Is there a problem? I thought you said she was home. Brandon asked, a little confused. She's in home, she was actually. That's when I got another text from Mercy. Mercy, where are you? The dogs are running around and getting into everything. Help! My mom just texted me. She took the dogs shopping. They won't be back for at least an hour. Shopping? Really? Brandon said. Well, I'll just tell the driver to wait in the driveway until she gets back. No, he can't. Okay. But after shopping, she plans to go the spa. Nikki, your mom is taking 8 dogs to shopping and to the spa. It's a doggy spa and it's run by Miss Bravery. She is the lady you spoke to on the phone yesterday. They will probably be there for like 17 hours, so the driver definitely shouldn't wait. Then Chloe and Zoe walked up. Hi, Nikki. Is everything okay? Zoe asked. Yeah, you look a little flustered, Chloe added. Well, things are a little crazy right now, Brandon exclaimed. Nikki, just give me an update on the dogs, and some of it is almost unbelievable. You told Brandon about the dogs? Chloe and Zoe exclaimed. Yes, no, sorry. I'm just really, really confused right now, I muttered. Nikki told me the dogs aren't at her house right now, Brandon said. So you know all about us bringing the dog to its school today? Chloe laughed. And then completely trashing the janitor's closet, Zoe giggled. Nikki, why are you making those strange, ugly faces at us pointing at Brandon? Chloe asked. Oops, Chloe and Zoe mumbled. That's when Brandon started to freak out. Okay, wait a minute. Did you guys just say you brought the dogs to school today and put them in the janitor's closet? No, we didn't just say that, Chloe fibbed. Well, Nikki just told me her mom was taking them shopping and to the dog spa, Brandon said. Your mom is taking the dogs shopping and to a doggy spa? Chloe and Zoe exclaimed. Well, yes, of course she didn't, I shrugged. Okay, Nikki, I'm really confused, Brandon said, shaking his head. If the dogs are not at your house or in the janitor's closet or shopping with your mom or at the doggy spa, then where in the heck are they? Brandon, Chloe, Zoe stared at me like forever, waiting for my answer. Suddenly, Mercy came running down the hall, screaming at the top of her lungs. Help! The dogs are loose in Principal Winston's office. Which meant I didn't have to answer Brandon's question because Mercy did. What? The dogs are in Principal Winston's office? Are you guys serious? Brandon groaned. As serious as a heart attack, we answered. That's when the five of us frantically took off running to get the principal's office. Friday, 4:09 p.m. in the principal's office. Ah! That was me screaming. OMG, I was so angry at myself. Why did I think I couldn't secretly keep a dog in my bedroom and then take them to school and hide them in the janitor's closet and then smuggle them into the principal's office? What was I thinking? And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. When the five of us finally arrived at the principal's office, we cautiously peeked inside. Unfortunately, we saw 8 dogs running loose, trashing the office, and one very confused, ticked off Principal Winston. Of course, when Principal Winston saw us standing there, he totally lost it. Can anyone explain to me why there's a pack of wild dogs running in loose of my office? He yelled. I'm sorry, sir, but it's all my fault, I stammered. No, it's actually my fault, Marcy said, hanging her head. Principal Winston, I accept totally responsibility for these dogs, Brenda admitted solemnly. Well, I was involved too, sir, Zoe said glumly. That's when everyone stared at Chloe. Hey, I just raided your candy jar, Chloe shrugged. I am no puppy smuggler. I could not believe Chloe was throwing all of us under the bus like that. Well, the owner of these dogs better speak up, or I'm going to call all of your parents. It got so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Then we heard a friendly voice in the doorway. Excuse me, Principal Winston, but these dogs are part of my science fair project, and somehow they escaped. I'm really sorry about that. It was Max Crumbly. Of course, everyone was shocked to see him standing there, and poor Principal Winston was so confused he didn't know who to believe. Until Max called Holly over, all 8 dogs tackled him and smothered him with a kiss. Max introduced himself to a principal and told him he attended to South Ridge Middle School. He went on to explain that his science fair project with Brandon was using distillation to turn dirty water into clean drinking water, and it involved taking dirty runoff water from compost and bathwater from the dogs and turning it into clean drinking water. Principal Winston was very impressed with both Max and his science project, and apparently so were Chloe, Zoe, and Mercy. For some unknown reason, all 3 of them suddenly got a sharp case of the giggles. I could not believe that they were actually flirting with Max like that. Anyway, while Principal Winston chatted with Max, Brandon started to gather up the dogs and put them back in their cages, and Chloe, Zoe, and Mercy tidied up the office. Well, I should probably get back to the science fair now. I sincerely apologize again for the runaway dogs. It was nice meeting you, Max. Max distracting Principal Winston while we did damage control. As Max was about to leave, he and Brandon exchanged glances. Then Brandon cleared his throat. Actually, Principal Winston, if it's okay with you, maybe we can help Max with the dogs. Yeah, we definitely wouldn't want them to get loose during the science fair, I added. That's a good idea, Principal Winston again. So why don't all of you help Max keep an eye on them? Now that I think about it, I'll probably just take the dogs home before they cause any more trouble, Max reasoned. Actually, Max, I like that idea even better, Principal Winston chuckled. Brandon grabbed a wagon and the 6 of us got the heck out of there. Once we had made it out into the hall with the dogs, everyone was so relieved. We actually high-fived each other. Nice work, Crumbly, Brandon exclaimed. OMG, I thought Principal Winston was going to call our parents for sure, I sputtered. I almost peed my pants. Of course, everyone laughed at my silly joke. Which reminds me, Brandon said, I still need to call the driver and tell him not to pick up the dogs from your house, Nicky. He took out his cell phone. I'll just have him come to the school instead. Anyway, I managed to survive yet another catastrophe. Thanks to Matt Crumbly, that guy is pretty cool. Friday, 4:45 p.m. at Chloe's house. Right now, I'm so completely exhausted from all of the drama with the dogs that I could fall over. After we left the principal's office, Chloe rushed home to get ready for the dogs. And since Brandon had to be at the science fair, I agreed to help deliver them to Chloe's house. I have to admit, I was super relieved that I didn't have to hide them from my parents anymore. It was a miracle I was actually able to keep the dogs hidden in my bedroom without them finding out. After a very noisy trip with the dogs in a van, I anxiously rang Chloe's doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The first thing I planned to do when I got back home was relax in a warm bubble bath. No, wait, the upstairs bathroom will still reek of manure and peanut butter. Ew. Okay, instead I had just chillaxed from finishing up a watercolor painting I had started last week. But that was going to be difficult to do since the dog had chewed a leg of my artist easel. While I could always lounge around in my comfy PJs and bunny slippers and just write in my diary. Not the dogs had accidentally peed on my PJs and chewed the ear of my bunny slipper. So now they look like big fuzzy rats. My bunny slippers, not the dogs. My thoughts were improved when someone finally answered the door. The person was wearing a surgical mask, surgical scrubs, and latex gloves, and was holding a can of spray cleaner. Chloe, is that you? Me wondering why Chloe was dressed so strangely. Hi, Nikki. Yeah, it's me. Did you get my phone message? I'm really sorry, she said glumly. I burst into giggles. Hey there, Doc. Miss Stuffins. Did I catch you in the middle of surgery? I teased. Chloe pulled down her face mask and glared at me. No, Miss Smarty Pants. I sneezed and it freaked out my uncle. So now he is forcing me to wear this getup and spray the room with the disinfectant. She complained. He's totally germophobe. He just got here a few hours ago and is refusing to go back to his condo because his next door neighbor just adopted a dog. What, Chloe? Why did you spell dog? Shh, she hissed and looked over her shoulder nervously. That's where it will practically say, Chloe, who's at the door? I heard a man yell from the kitchen. Please tell them they can't come inside with a face mask and latex gloves. We have enough germs in this house. Just stop worrying, Uncle Carlos, please. Chloe answered, a little entreated, he continued. And if it's the mail, please call the Centers for Disease Control. Heavens know that deadly germs are living on those spit-covered envelopes people have looked that he carries from house to house. He's probably spreading the bubonic plague. I'm getting heart palpitations just thinking about it. Uncle Carlos, it's just my friend Nikki, She replied, please just chill out. How can I not worry when you're standing there with the door open? Do you realize you're letting in dozens of airborne viruses every minute? No wonder I'm feeling really sick, he complained as he sprayed the room. Chloe's Uncle Carlos is a little weird. Sorry, Nikki, just ignore him, she whispered. So what's up, Chloe? I heard that, he yelled. In spite of my nasal congestion and severe ear infections from my allergy, I can't still hear. Chloe rolled her eyes in frustration. Actually, Chloe, I began. I just came by to drop off these 8 packages just like we discussed. I said awkwardly and pointed to the dogs. So I guess you didn't get the message I left on your cell phone, Chloe sighed. What message? I asked. I guess I didn't hear my phone ringing. The dogs were super noisy on the trip over here. Chloe crined when I said the word dogs. Oops, I muttered, sorry. Dogs? Her uncle gasped. Did someone just say dogs? Take them away before I break out in a rash. Oh no, I'm already starting to itch. No, Uncle Carlos, Nikki said dogs. It's just a slang word for friends, Chloe fibbed. Hey, Nikki, can you help me out here? She whispered, nudged my arm. Yo, listen up, Chloe, I suddenly exclaimed very loudly. Me and my dogs will be chilling at Crazy Burger tonight. You down with that? Startled, the smallest puppy looked up at me and barked. Chloe and I both shushed her. Chloe, did I just say hear a dog? Her uncle yelled. He coughed over dramatically. Now I'm getting lightheaded and short of breath. It's probably an asthma attack. Chloe, quick, call 911. Uncle Carlos, you don't have asthma. Chloe grumbled. Besides, you've already made me call 911 3 times in the past hour. They have probably blocked our phone number by now. Then use your cell phone, her uncle argued. And just because I don't have asthma right now doesn't mean I won't get it later today. Chloe looked like she was about to lose it. How about I babysit the dogs? You babysit my uncle, she mumbled under her breath. I heard that, her uncle shouted again. Are you sure there are no dogs in this house? Seriously, Nikki, I'm so sorry. Chloe apologized. My parents said I couldn't keep the dogs on anymore because my uncle is going to be here for the weekend, and unfortunately he says he's allergic to dogs and just about everything else. Don't worry, Chloe, I totally understand, I assured her. How about Zoe? Maybe she can keep the dogs for 2 days. I don't think so. Today is her mom's birthday and Zoe taking her out to dinner. They will be gone most of the evening, so I guess I will just keep them at my house another day, I sighed. My stomach was already twisting into knots at the thought of hiding a dog from my parents again. Although I was exhausted, I felt even more sorry for Chloe. I had much rather spend the weekend with a pack of wild dogs than her whiny, slightly nutty, germophobic uncle Carlos. Chloe offered to help load the dogs. As we walked out to the van, Chloe's mom was coming in. Hi, Mrs. Gracia, I smiled. Hi, Mom, Chloe said. And don't worry, Holly and her puppies were just leaving. Hey, hi, girls. Wow, the puppies are adorable, Mrs. Gracia squealed. Well, I've got some great news for you both. me hoping the great news is that Uncle Carlos is going home. The Daisy Girl Scouts are having a sleepover at the neighbor's house to earn their pet care badges. So, Nikki, if it's okay with you, their troop leader, who is also my sister, would love to babysit the dog since Chloe can't do it. I think that's a great idea, Chloe exclaimed. And tomorrow, after the sleepover, Mom and I can pick up the dogs and take them to Chloe's house. I know you're exhausted and need a break, Nikki. Mrs. Gracie continued, my sister loves dogs and has one of her own. So Holly and our puppies will be in good hands, and it will be a great experience for the 16 little girls. Who knows? You might even find a home for one of the pups. Actually, that sounds fantastic to me. Me too, I said excitedly. I'll just run this past Brandon to make sure it's okay with them. I called Brandon on my cell phone and explained the situation with Chloe's uncle and how Mrs. Gracia's sister had volunteered to watch the dogs, along with her Daisy Droop. Brandon was totally sold on the idea, so everything is all set. Mrs. Gracia agreed to drop the dogs off at the sleepover and then drive me home. It looks like my doggy drama is over and I survived. Squee! Friday, 5:15 p.m. I can't believe I'm actually here. Again, Brianna and I had fallen in love with all the dogs, but our favorite was the smallest puppy. She was super cute, curious, and smart, and loved to play with Brianna's stuffed animal. Although I was really going to miss taking care of the dogs, I felt proud I had been able to help keep them safe. I also learned that puppies can be as rambunctious as they are cute. Calling Holly 7 puppies a handful was an understatement. They were like 7 tiny Tasmanian devil with a puppy breath and no potty training skills whatsoever. I was already looking forward to seeing them at Fuzzy Friends next week. Anyway, Chloe and I had no idea where the sleepover was going to be. But as soon as Mrs. Gracia pulled into the driveway, Chloe and I instantly recognized our house. At first, we totally freaked. Then we stared in shock. Soon we started to snicker, and then we giggled. Finally, we laughed until our sides hurt. Between the 8 dogs and the 16 Daisy Girl Scouts, including my bratty little sister Brianna, we felt really, really sorry for Mackenzie Hollister. Okay, now sit, say, stop, nice. Doggies, ew, dog germs. Get these mutts away from me. Sorry, but Mackenzie totally deserved every fun-filled poopy moment. It was going to be one very, very long night. Especially after I suggested to Brianna that Miss Bravery opened a new spa right inside Mackenzie's very huge and luxurious bedroom. Then she could provide her peanut butter facials to Mackenzie's little sister Amanda, the 14 other girls, and the 7 dogs for free. Just kidding, not. I'm such an evil genius. Ha 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 ha. Saturday, May 5 o'clock p.m. at Brianna's ballet class. I was so exhausted from taking care of the dogs that I slept past breakfast and lunch. And by the time I came downstairs to grab a bite to eat, Brianna had gotten home from her sleepover and left the house again to go to ballet practice, which meant I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to her all day. I was absolutely dying to know how everything went with the puppies and her new paw spa. Mom told me Brianna really enjoyed the sleepover and taking care of the puppies, and she had earned a pet care badge, which means she had been a responsible pet owner. Anyway, I decided to ride with Mom to pick up Brianna from ballet practice. And when I went inside to get my sister, I heard some very scandalous news. But at first, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I'm definitely not the type who spreads nasty rumors about other people. And I refuse to gossip behind a person's back, unlike most of the CCPs, the cute, cool, and popular kids who will gossip about you right to your face. But I couldn't resist getting the last dirt on a certain diary stealing drama queen who had just transferred to Northampton Hills International Academy. And it came from a very reliable source, namely Mackenzie's little sister Amanda. I was just minding my own business and trying to be friendly when I said, "Hi Amanda, so is your sister Mackenzie loving your new school?" What happened at her new school is a big secret. If I tell Mackenzie's secret, Santa may not bring me any toys. But I can't tell you because Brianna is my BFF. Me talking to Mackenzie's little sister Amanda. Well, Amanda, if it's a big secret, then you don't have to tell me, I said, giving her a reassuring hug. But I'm very sure Santa is going to bring you and your BFF Brianna lots of fun toys this year because you're the sweetest little sister a big sister could ever have. I gushed. You really think so? Amanda giggled. Okay, so the big secret about Mackenzie is... Oh, wait a minute. Brianna entered, smiling at me like a snake in a pink tutu. Since we're both such sweet little sisters, will you take Amanda and me to see Princess Sugar Plum Saving Baby Unicorn Island Part 9, please? Wow, a Princess Sugar Plum movies? That would be awesome, Amanda squealed. I gave Brianna a dirty look. I could not believe she was taking advantage of me like this. But if I wanted to get the lowdown of Mackenzie, I didn't have a choice but to give Brianna's demon. Okay, but Amanda, we have to ask your mom first, I exclaimed. Now let's get back to Mackenzie's big secret, okay? So spill it. Amanda took a deep breath and began a second time. Well, when Mackenzie went to her new school, Hold on, Brianna interrupted. We're going to need some hot buttery popcorn at the movie. Fine, I said, annoyed. I'll get you popcorn. And gummy bears too, Brianna added. That little brat was milking this situation like a dairy cow. I could not believe I was being so blatantly manipulated by my own greedy little sister. Like, who does that? Okay, and gummy bears too, I said through gritted teeth, but nothing more. That's it. Do you understand? Brianna grinned at me like a baby shy. Nikki, you're the best sister ever. Now, Amanda. Where were we before Brianna so rudely interrupted us? Amanda lowered her voice to a whisper. Then she told me some of the things that had happened to Mackenzie at her new school. OMG! The stuff she said was unbelievable. No wonder Mackenzie had been acting so weird when we saw her at the cupcakery. I almost felt sorry for her. I noticed I said almost. Anyway, I have to stop writing in my diary now. To celebrate Brianna's earning her pet care badge, Mom is letting us have dinner at a Crazy Burger. Squee! I'm so hungry right now. I could eat one of those silly styrofoam Crazy Burger hats, googly eyes and all. Saturday, 8:30 p.m. I'm in my bedroom. I just talked to Zoe on the phone an hour ago. She told me that Chloe had dropped the dogs off around noon, and Zoe has been having a blast with them all day. It seems so quiet in my bedrooms now that the dogs are gone. I really miss them. Anyway, I'm still in shock about the stuff I heard about Mackenzie today. Apparently, her first day of school went fine and everyone was super friendly, but her second day was a disaster. Mackenzie was in the bathroom when a group of the most popular girls in the entire school came in. They were laughing really hard about something. Then she heard them mention her name. So Mackenzie peeked out of her stall and, "Oh, MG, she's so pathetic," caught them laughing and making fun of that video of her with a bug in her hair. Mackenzie was so embarrassed, then humiliated, that she hid out in that bathroom stall for 3 hours until the school was over. And then she ended up with a 1 hour after school detention for skipping class. Amanda said Mackenzie hated the popular kids at Northampton Hills because they were mean, snobby, and made fun of her because of the bug video. OMG, all of that mean girl drama sounded uncomfortably familiar. Mackenzie was being treated by those Northampton Hills girls exactly the same way she treated me. Apparently, some of the kids at her new school had labeled Mackenzie Hollister, the former queen bee of the CCPs, a big dork. Well, Mackenzie, welcome to the club. All of this is just so unbelievable. Because they sounded nothing like the CCP mean girl who had a locker next to mine for 8 very long months at WCD. Come on, who in their right mind wouldn't love attending a swanky school like Northampton Hills International Academy? But Amanda said Mackenzie made up cool stuff about her life and pretended to be someone else to the school of students there would like her, which also explains why she had all but stolen my identity when I met some friends at the cupcakery. Anyway, my conversation with Amanda was very rudely interrupted by a loud, shrill voice. "Amanda, I told you never talk to that little brat or her pathetic sister again. Let's go now." Mackenzie shrieked. Then she swept like a vicious vulture and dragged Amanda away like a dead carcass. "Bye, Amanda. Bye, Brianna." Mackenzie grabs Amanda and drags her away. That's when a smile slowly spread across Brianna's face. It looked like Mackenzie is still mad about the pause-by I sat in her bedroom during our sleepover. Brianna giggled. Everybody loved it, except Mackenzie. And get this, Mackenzie didn't say a single word to me. She just say, "Sash hate away with her." No stuck in the air like I didn't even exist. I just hate it when that girl says hates. Anyway, it's practically Brianna's fault that I didn't get even more details about what happened. Amanda couldn't complete a full sentence without Brianna rudely interrupting to demand assorted unhealthy movie snacks. So if I want to get more dirt on Mackenzie, it looks like I might actually have to spend on after taking Brianna and Amanda to Princess Sugar Plum Saves Baby Unicorn Island Part 9. Suffering through yet another of those silly, mind-numbing Princess Sugar Plum movies would be worth it just to see one step ahead of Mackenzie and her drama fest. Sunday, May 4 or 7 o'clock p.m. at home. Brandon called me earlier today with some really good news. Great news about fuzzy friends. According to the manager, 4 dogs had been picked up for adoption on Friday and 6 on Saturday. So as of this morning, fuzzy friends had 10 opening for new animals. Squeak! Which meant that there was finally enough space for Holly and her 7 puppies. But this is the crazy part. All the puppies have already been adopted, and Holly too. The vet said Holly had pretty much weaned her puppies and they were eating solid puppy food. I felt really happy and sad at the same time. I would have loved to have gotten a dog of my own. But after my mom made such a big fuss about her new furniture and carpet, I didn't even bother to ask. Mrs. Gracia's sister adopted Holly and her 4 puppies were adopted by the girls at the pet care sleepover. Wow! So thanks to Chloe's Uncle Carolus, 5 dogs found homes, and Marcy got a puppy, and 2 puppies went to people on the Fuzzy Friend waiting list for golden retrievers. I felt a little heartbroken knowing those wonderful dogs had been placed with other families. I guess my family would never ever get a dog. I couldn't help but blink back my tears. I know it's crazy to have grown so attached to them after just a few days, but I feel depressed looking at the outline in the carpet where their cages used to be. My room is so quiet now, I can barely sleep at all. Brianna has been missing the puppies too, even though I made her swear on her Princess Sugar Plum pink baby unicorn to keep the dog's puppies a big secret. Lately, it's been the only thing she talks about. You know who had really loved these meatballs? She sighed Sally at the dinner table earlier today. Holly and her 7 puppies that we hid in Nikki's room. I really missed them. I wish I could share my meatballs with those puppies. One part of me wanted to reach across the table and slap her, and the other part of me was so freaked out that I choked on a meatball. Well, actually, all of me was choking on that meatball. Nikki, Mom cried, "Are you okay?" I caught and quickly guzzled my glass of punch to wash the meatball down before my face turned blue. Sorry about that. These meatballs are so delicious. I'm literally trying to inhale them. I giggled nervously. Mom and Dad traded glances with each other. Now, what were you saying about puppies? Dad asked Brianna curiously. Hey, Brianna, I interrupted, trying desperately to change the subject. How is Oliver doing? I bet he really likes Maple too. He loves Puppy more, she said glumly. He said he wanted to play with the puppies you had in your room. Dad furrowed his brow. So are these Princess Sugar Plum stuffed puppies? No, Dad, they're Nikki's puppies. And they are real, Brianna corrected him. Actually, Dad, the puppies aren't real, I explained. But Brianna likes to pretend they live in my bedroom. Nuh-uh, she protested. They are real and you know it. Remember the torn up pillows in the family room and the peanut butter and mud from the paws in the upstairs bathroom and the dog poop in Mommy and Daddy's room and the ha ha ha, I rolled over the sound of her snitching on me. Dogs pooping in Mom and Dad's room? OMG, you're hilarious, Brianna. You weren't laughing when you were lying on the middle of the bathroom floor, covered with mud, peanut butter, and toilet water, she yelled and stuck her tongue out at me. Brianna, that Mom scolded her. That's enough. I could not believe that little brat was putting all of my personal business in the street like that. Thanks a million, Brianna. Just throw me under the bus so Mom and Dad will ground me until my 18th birthday. I don't have the slightest idea why Brianna has suddenly been so upset with puppies lately. I shrugged, all innocent like. Maybe it was that past care sleepover. Dad and Mom exchanged glances again. Actually, I was starting to feel a little uneasy. I couldn't help but notice that my parents were acting kind of weird too. Did they actually believe Brianna's crazy story? Nikki, after dinner, I had like you to help me bring in some groceries from the car, okay? Mom said. 20 minutes later, I was carrying in a half-dozen bag of pets and stuff. These are groceries? I asked skeptically. Mom, I know you've caught Brianna drinking out of the toilet and biting the mailman once or twice, but feeding her doggy dinner puppy chaw is a bit drastic. Don't you think? It's a pet food drive for Brianna's troop, Mom said. Hey, what's this stuff? Brianna asked. Mom, did you buy me some puppy chow cereal? Yum! I couldn't believe Brianna actually said that. I ate lots of bacon doggy snacks when Nikki babysat me and the puppies, she bragged. Then Dad came downstairs carrying a big white box with a huge red bow on it. Wow, I gasped. What is a new laptop computer to replace the one Brianna had put in the dishwasher? Girls, we have a big surprise for you. We opened the box and peeked inside. A new puppy! Oh, a wiggly little puppy jumped into our arms and licked our face. It was Holly's smallest pups, the one that Brianna and I had fallen in love with it. Squee! We both squealed. Yip, yip, yip! The puppy barked. We were so happy. We both started to cry. I've been begging your mom for a dog for a long time now, she finally gave in. Dad boasted, you girls can thank me later. Well, both of you have been talking about dogs non-stop all week. It made me seriously consider getting one. And when I picked up Brianna from her sleepover and saw this little puppy, I couldn't help but fall in love with her. I called Fuzzy Friends right away and arranged to adopt her. Can we call her Daisy? Brianna asked excitedly. She's the littlest, cutest, sweetest dog in the entire world. I totally agreed. We were so happy and excited that we had a group hug with Daisy, the Maxwell family's new puppy. Something told me she was the right dog, Mom said, winking at Dad. A wave of piranha swept over me. Now, what did that little comment mean? I thought I had just gotten away with the biggest doggy smuggling operation in Maxwell family history. But now I was starting to wonder if it was Mom and Dad who had pulled a fast on one Brianna and me. Anyway, Holly and her pups had new homes. We had an adorable new puppy named Daisy, and my next week at school was going to be drama-free for the first time all year. My life was perfect until I got a copy of my parent email from Principal Winston. To Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell from Principal Winston, RE 8th grade student exchange week. Dear parents, each year all 8th grade students at WCD Middle School participate in a school student exchange week with local schools. We feel this helps to foster community and good citizenship both students and especially at the host school. Your child, Nikki Maxwell, will be attending Northampton Hills International Academy along with several other WCD students. Everyone is expected to be on their best behavior, to follow the student handbook of the host school, and to make WCD DC proud. More information about this very important event will be sent home with students next week. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. Sincerely, Principal Winston. At first, I thought the letter was some kind of prank, but when I checked the WCD calendar on our school website, sure enough, the student exchange week was listed as an official event. Just great! So now I'm going to be attending school with Mackenzie Hollister? Just when I thought that drama queen was out of my life forever, she showed up again like a recurring nightmare. Although from what I've heard, I think she could probably use my help. Hey, it's really tough when other kids make you feel like an outsider, but you just have to believe in yourself. How do I know this? Probably because I'm such a dork.